Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. Happy Wednesday. Man, this music this morning, this album slaps. I really liked the tune so far. But good morning, thank you everybody for being here. I'm so glad you're here, Captain Coder. Beautiful day to be alive. It's a beautiful morning here in the Southwest United States desert. Beautiful morning. Nice and dark outside. That doesn't mean it's not beautiful. That doesn't mean it's not beautiful. It's still beautiful. The sun's going to be coming up here any moment. It's going to be wonderful. But what are we working on today? We're continuing the Dungeoneering kit. Captain Coder's Dungeoneering toolkit. Yes. Moonniz, Rave, G, Dramulks, Royal C-Dub Gaming. Thank you guys so much for being here this morning. Welcome back. Welcome to the crew. I'm so glad you are all here today to celebrate the day after Valentine's Day with me. I appreciate it. But yes, Rave saying just had a chance to give Crazy Marble a shot. I published it. Publish is a strong word, but I did. I clicked the publish button. It's available. It's out in the world now. Here, I set up this page. Got this page going. It took some screenshots. It's a tough one. Mouse controls need some work. I will say the mouse controls in this game need quite a bit of work. I find with a game much easier to play with a gamepad. Much easier to play with a gamepad. But those moving platforms are tough. That inertia, I left that in there on purpose. I thought about making it so when you're on a platform, you sort of stick to it. But man, you're correct that it's tough. I did make it so the camera, you can't, it's a little, you might notice it like sort of snaps to 5-degree angles. So when the camera's not moving, it will snap to a 5-degree angle. So you can line yourself up. So if you'll see there, it's like, I don't know if it's coming across on the stream, but you can kind of see it move back to that 5-degree. So I did make it snap to 5-degree. I had it at 15, but that looked weird. Maybe I could have done it at like 7.5. But getting the camera to snap on the 5 degrees there really helps to, as I fall to the abyss. That really helped, in my opinion. There's also zooming in and out. Zooming can help. Oh, that's what's going on. The controls, hang on. The controls reset for me again. So like, there's also, don't forget to invert your camera. If you need them to be, for me, the X-axis, I like it to be not, for some reason I have it set to be inverted by default. But make sure your mouse sensitivity and your axis controls are set in a way that are comfortable for you. The default settings, no one likes them. I'm not sure how to fix that so that the default controls are set up for, normal humans as opposed to, me. But it's a little tricky. I love it though. This game was a blast to make. I think I'm gonna expand on it at some point. I had a fun making this page though for it. And I had so much fun putting it together. I'm glad people have enjoyed it. It is way too hard. It just starts out way too hard, kicking your butt. That's why we named that first level the Tower of Bullying. Rave said, I'm in a weird place where it's a blizzard, it's dangerous, but on the border of a snow day. So waiting for 10 minutes to see if I have to shovel. Yeah, I remember growing up, I grew up in a place where sometimes you get snow days. And you'd sit there waiting in the morning, like, am I gonna get a snow day? Or am I gonna have to, or do I get to stay? Do I have to? Often you ended up, what was it called, a 2-hour delay. So I lived in the desert. You'd get snow, and oftentimes the snow would just melt. Sorry if I missed so much. There's so much chat going on there this morning. I missed a lot of it. I apologize for that. But what are we gonna work on today? We are working on our Dungeoneering kit. So let's go over what we have so far, what we've learned, and what we're gonna do today. So we put together, and this was super fun to do. We put together this grid editor, and there's some finickiness with it. But if you give it a grid cell database, We have a grid cell database. You can put your database in here. This will allow you, so if we open this up, this will allow you to specify how to interpret these values. All right, so we have different things here. So I imagine you could have like different grid cell databases for like a forest, for, you know, a dungeon, for a cave. You could swap out your grid cell database based on what type of map you're gonna do. All right, so you could swap out your grid cell database. TOS Studios, good morning, my friend. Welcome back, welcome aboard, welcome to the crew. All right, so you put your grid cell database, and you can specify where you want it to go. But check it out, we define our maps using this format. We're gonna change this format. I don't like how, and then you click add to scene, and boom, generates you that element. So we're gonna keep expanding on this as we go. I don't know why I always zoom. I'll zoom in and then move away from it, and then zoom and then move away. But you can do things like this, where you could potentially define yourself whole dungeon-esque maps, right? But we do got some thick walls, as people were pointing out. So super happy with this result here. I want to clean it up. I want to add features in, but the idea is, rather than calling it a grid editor, it's gonna be like room editors. You're gonna be able to specify rooms. But yeah, say we had a specific spot we want to add it to, container. We can select, hey, I want to put it in this container. I click add to scene. Boom, we have this whole thing that we can move around as a unit. So it gets us this chunk as a unit, but our databases, right, so we're gonna have a variety of grid cell databases depending on what you want to do, what you want to include in your map. So the idea is you would define a grid cell database, then you define rooms. So each room is gonna have like a database associated with it. Anyway, so the long-term goal here is you're gonna be able to save and load rooms like this. You'll be able to put rooms, and you'll be able to define connection points. So I'd put like, there'd be maybe an asterisk here or a plus that says, plus probably makes sense, says there's potentially something that extends off of here. So it'll generate, when we go to generate these things, these pluses will get evaluated and says, okay, the plus means that we add a corridor here. And so a corridor gets some stuff chunked out, and we'll have this way of building what a weighted graph. We'll be able to build a weighted thing that says, I'll be able to select this node and say, from this node, these are the types of things that could come off of it, and here's the weight for those things. And then we'll use a Markov chain to say, we'll expand out from sort of the center of a map into a dungeon. So this is what we've done the last 2 days. Really happy with building the editor. This was super fun to do. So thank you, Moonniz, for that. Hey, did you guys know today's stream is brought to you by the letter M? M is for Moonniz. M is for Moonniz. Moonniz, let's see, here's my macro work. It does, the command. Everyone, real quick, direct your attention to the chat. If you're not already following Moonniz, you should be. Moonniz is what I like to call a real game developer. Moon has been doing real game development for over 10 years now, I believe. Or is it 10 years or over 10 years, Moonniz? Anyway, you should hit that heart button. Moonniz has taught me everything I know. Everything I know comes from this wonderful man here. You gotta go check him out. Awesome stream, awesome developer. Currently working on a Metroidvania game on his stream. I've learned so much from watching over there. You got to go check it out. If you want to get input from someone who actually knows what they're doing, not someone that's learning what they're doing, that's who you want to be following. So be sure to give Moonniz a follow. Yeah, so thank you for being here, Moonniz. Glad to have you. Awesome. So what do I want to do today? So we have this basic generation done. I wanted to shift gears just a little bit. So today's goals. I want to do some movement. Let's add some movement controls in here so we can get down into the dungeon. Let's get down in the dungeon so we can move about. We're going to implement 4 directional grid movement. So you can move forward, backward, strafe left, strafe right, and then you got 90-degree turning. So there's going to be 6 button controls for movement. Forward, back, strafe left, strafe right, and then 9-degree turning. 90-degree turning. Maybe we'll implement. Oh, maybe we'll even implement in 180-degree turning. Once we have 90-degree, 180 would be no big deal. QWD, ASD, and maybe an X in there, Mooniz, if we want to do 180s. Can add in an X as well. I know. That's a lot of fingers you're gonna need. I only have 2 fingers. Most people have 9, which is which makes the QWE ASD controls a little bit better. But then I also want to make so there's a free look camera that snaps back, so you can look around and when you let go, it'll come right back to where it was. So I have some ideas about how to do that. I think I'm gonna use Cinemachine to like make my life, to overkill it, right, for movement stuff. All right, so that's our first thing that we're gonna do. I know remember, I always want to try and do an easy thing first. Although this one might be a little bit longer than 30 minutes, but the first thing I want to get that done quickly. But hopefully this will be in our first break. Then I want to add movement restrictions within the dungeon, so we have an idea of where we are in the dungeon relative to other stuff. And the grid-based movement, we basically can't move through walls, so we'll need this idea of is passable. Different grid cells that are passable, you can move in and out of. And then the last thing is if we try and move into an area that is not passable. This one's another easy one. I struggled to come up with the third one. We're going to add a bump effect where when you try to move into something that you can't, it's sort of you go to it and then it pushes you back. A little animation there. And then bonus, if we get to it, we're going to de-thick those dungeon walls. We're gonna de-thick them. Look how thick those dungeon walls are. Too thick. They don't need a whole cell, they need a straddle of cells. So we're gonna have to come up with a whole new format. That's our bonus. Yeah. And that said, I think tomorrow, I don't think I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow. Will depend. I have to work super late tonight. So I may not be streaming 5 a.m. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm assuming I won't be streaming tomorrow because I have to work late tonight, and then I just won't be functional on Thursday, which is tomorrow. All right, everybody, so let's dive in. We're gonna add in some controls here. So we'll go to our assets. I'm gonna create a folder. Did I already create a folder for my inputs and my scripts? Inputs, look, I already did. I was thinking ahead, I was done thunking it. All right, so we're gonna add a keyboard control scheme, keyboard, mouse. Ooh, maybe we could add in, all right, keyboard, mouse, save. There we go. Keyboard, mouse. That's interesting. What is it? Keyboard, quest, check, mouse. What did I do? Oh, apparently keyboard, mouse. If you put a slash in there, here, edit control settings. Keyboard, yeah, and mouse. All right, keyboard and mouse. The slash apparently does some specialness. All right, we're gonna add an action group. This is gonna be called movement, and we're gonna create a. All right, I gotta remember this action type. This is gonna be a value. It's gonna be a vector 2. All right, there's a vector 2 new action. This is gonna be what would we call this? Movement. I feel dumb calling it movement, but that's what it is. So this is gonna be forward, back, left, and right. And this binding is going to, hang on, let's delete that. Add up, down, left, right composite. All right. Is that what can I make it? Hang on. Yeah, up, down, left, right, path. We'll do W, S. Jackie, welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. So nice to have you here. Happy Tuesday, Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. How's your Wednesday going, Jackie? So nice to have you. So nice to have you. I love that you come and you hang out with us. You say hello. You give us a beautiful emote. Oh, it's just so lovely to have you here. And we'll go right, D, up, down, left, right. Then we're gonna add in rotation, view, rotate. All right, and this one is going to be a value. Can I make it a value that is 2? Maybe I should have made this one an axis. It was a vector 2. This one's a left and right. I wanted it to be a vector 1. It'd be an axis. Delete that. Add positive, negative binding. So it's a 1D axis, positive. All right, our negative direction is Q, and our positive direction is E. All right, so A, S, ooh, yeah, W, S does move us backwards. Rotate does that. Maybe we need one more. All right, I'm not going to do 180 yet, although it'd be pretty easy to do. All right, we're going to save this asset. Get ourselves some key bindings there. I could do controller inputs too. That's really good. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna do gamepad controls, everybody. We're gonna do some gamepad controls. Add a control scheme. Gamepad. Gamepad. Is gamepad have a P in it? Is it one word or two? Is gamepad one word or two? Gamepad. Looks like it's one word with a lowercase p. Did I add in edit control scheme, add a control scheme, gamepad, perfect, Moonness, thank you, one word, gamepad, save, there we go, and we'll go ahead and add in here, we're going to add an up, down, left, right composite, like that. Moonray Murray, yo! Happy, what are we saying? Happy Wednesday. Welcome back, my friend. So nice to see you. Happy Wednesday. How are you this morning? This afternoon or this evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. How are you? It's morning for me. That's why I can't help myself. Yeah, how are you? Gamepad up. We're going to use the D-pad this time. Composite. Or maybe we can do both. You can use the D-pad, or we're gonna use the D-pad for now. We'll let people get angry that you have to use the D-pad. And then our rotate, I'm gonna make that the bumpers, left and right bumpers to rotate. And so we'll add in a positive, negative binding. We're listening to our left bumper. Oh, they call it left shoulder. Interesting. I know on PlayStation it's L1, L2, R1, R2. All right. So now we got our movement inputs. Murray says, nighttime for me, 11 p.m. Ha! I'm good. Fixed my texture issue with my project, playing some horde game for inspiration fun. Nice. Yeah, thank you for the update on Discord. Sounds like you're making some excellent progress. Dire Prism. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back to the crew. Happy to have you here. Happy Wednesday. How are you, Dire Prism? How are you? How are you? So nice to have you here. Evening, afternoon. Good evening. Good evening. I always like that. Did anyone ever watch like the old classic horror TV like movie marathons where you'd have the host like, good evening. Welcome to the horror of horribleness. Tonight, you are going to witness the horrific tale of Dracula. Anyone remember that, or is that just me? What was that guy's name? He was like a famous actor who would do it. Yeah, Moonray though. I was trying to find it here on the Discord. I can't remember where it went. Probably in games. Yeah, Moonray's game. You got all the hordiness, the hordes. Stress testing, 190 frames per second. You must have a beast. What are your stats on your computer? Because my computer, people tell me my computer's all right. It's not a beefy machine though. Last time I bought a really beefy gaming computer, it like melted down on me, and so I decided I would never pay that much for a computer again. And I don't game that much. I really don't. Okay. All right. Keyboard, mouse. Perfect. All right, we got these movement controls defined. We have the movement controls defined. Now we got to create sort of like our player. Just create a player. Our player's gonna be inside the dungeon. They gotta snap to the dungeon. I represent him doing good at work. Very nice, my friend. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm very happy to hear that. And our player needs to have this idea of an XY position. G says, all game devs say they don't have beefy machines, but mine couldn't even run old version of the Unity default code editor. Yeah, I looked at my machine. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's like 2 or 3 years old. I bought it as a gaming computer, I think 2 or 3 years ago, but it was only like, you know, as far as gaming computers goes, I think it was $600. Whereas, you know, top end, high end, you know, gaming rig is going to be like $1,000 to $2,000. But I got it. It was just like I felt like it was I wanted to play some games online with friends. I wanted to play 7 Days to Die. But yeah, mine's not beefy. 16 gigs of RAM. A dedicated graphics card. Moonray says 16 gigabytes RAM, i5, 2.9 gigahertz, and a GTX 980, so it's only like a 500, 700. Nice. So your game's pretty optimized then. G says, I won't tell you how old my machine is then. Very well. Very well. I usually get a new computer every 5 or 6 years. I have found like spending $500 to $600, you know, amortized over time ends up being about $100 a year for a computer, which works out nicely. Daprism just recently bought a laptop with an actual GPU, a 1050, but still doing dev on my office laptop with integrated graphics because I haven't upgraded RAM and SSD on a new one. Yeah, before this, I didn't have a computer with a dedicated graphics card. So that I think that just makes a huge difference for games, having a dedicated graphics card, right? Without a dedicated graphics card, it's hard to do anything. Moonray Murray says, I'm using the game engine API for rendering and physics, using physics servers, renderers, servers instead of nodes. Interesting. I've never done that. That sounds like a fun little exploration though. All right, so our player's gonna be inside. I want these to be snapped, so we gotta come to my inspector here. Let's move our player to 0, 0, 0. And then our containers, let's move everything. Fascinating. All right, so we're gonna actually put our player at, so everything's 5 by 5. Art, my friend, bonjour. Good morning, or good afternoon for you. Is it good afternoon? I'm doing fabulous, Art asks. How are you doing today? I'm doing fabulous. It's a beautiful day to be alive, my friend. Thank you so much for asking. It is a fabulously beautiful day to be alive. How are you? How are you? For anyone doesn't know, Art's an awesome game developer. You got to check him out. Let's do it. Let's do a quick shout out for Art here. Art. Art's working on a game called The Warlock's Gauntlet, not Gantlet. Not Gantlet. We talked about that a lot yesterday. The Warlock's Gauntlet. It's a swords and sorcery themed first-person hack and slash. He's an incredible streamer. One of my, you know, if not my favorite stream, one of my favorite streams. If Art's on, I'm usually there. He's usually streaming around the end of my work day. But real quick, everyone in the chat, if you are not currently following Art, you gotta follow him because the game looks awesome. Hit that little heart. Hit that little heart. Give him some love. Get quick. Click the heart. Click the heart. Did you click? Hey, you in the back. I see you there. Get over here. Get out. Come. I know you're working. Your work can wait. Come on back to the chat. Come on back to the chat. Click that little heart button. Click it. I'll wait. Thank you. Thank you. All right. But yeah, I gotta go check out Art. He's doing an awesome, it's like, if you liked Doom and Heretic and Hexen and Wolfenstein, those games, the first person perspective looks awesome. Awesome, beautiful looking pixel art, stylized, great stuff. Art says, I hear you're working on your level editor. Yeah, let me show you what we got. We don't have a ton. But let's take a look real quick. So what did we do? This is day 3. So we haven't been working on it that long. So not a lot to show just yet. But we have a grid editor. All right, so we have a grid editor here. The idea is to do a procedural dungeon generator. But we'll have a grid editor. You know me, I like my text files. But you can load in a grid cell database. So you give it a database and that tells it how to render each of these characters. So it's a two-dimensional grid-based game. It's gonna follow like classic grid, but then you can build out a dungeon using ASCII art, I guess you might say. But your dungeons are these two-dimensional grids. All right, so we'll build it out like this in here, and then you click the add to scene, and it will generate that specific dungeon layout. That's the idea. And we got some thick walls here. We're gonna clean up the thick walls eventually. But this is the general premise. Is I want to have sort of I want to be able to build the different types of rooms that could be generated by my procedural generation. And then this was like one of the first steps of, well, I make this room. What does that room look like? I click add to scene. Boom, dumps it into the scene for me. Really, really simple to add it to the scene. So it generates those. So going pretty well. We've made some progress. Today I'm working on adding in some movement controls. So getting ourselves in that first person perspective. We're gonna drop the camera inside here and have the player be able to move around on a grid. So they'll have 90-degree turn angles. Art says, so you're doing procedural generation for the marble game, I see. No, this isn't for the marble game. I suppose we could do it for the marble game. But one of the things that we defined, what this project will not be is an actual RPG. This one is just a dungeon generator. Just a dungeon generator, not a full game. My goal is to prepare myself for the Dungeon Crawl Jam, which I'll be participating in April. So I'm building this up as a tool I can use for the Dungeon Crawl Jam. Yeah. So this one is just a dungeon generator. It depends on how far we'll get, but I'm hoping to only spend maybe, a couple weeks on it. Yeah. NBN, I'm assuming you're not a real person, but thanks for trying. Yeah. Thank you, Stream Elements. I'm a little worried. So Stream Elements bot is supposed to go down for maintenance from like 7, in 4 minutes. It's supposed to go down for maintenance about 30 minutes. So I'm a little bit worried that I might get slammed with bots during that time because they did send an email out. So be prepared. I may invoke shield mode if we get attacked by bots and spammers during that time. So just be prepared for that. Mooniz, I am here to ban anyone who types in chat. Very well, Mooniz. That's why you got that sword next to your name. All right. So let us add in. So we just created a player object. Let's add in a player script. So the idea is the player moves on the grid. So the player is going to have sort of a direction it's facing. Yeah. So a player facing direction of northeast, southwest. So we got to do 90-degree. That's part of the requirements. And then a position, X, Y, Z. Sorry, not X, Y, Z. An X and Y position that is going to get translated by our grid size, which I need to adjust. Our grid size is too big. I do think I want, but we'll see what it looks like when when we're in the scene. And these walls need to be taller, I'm pretty sure as well. What happens if I turn off the directional light? Can we get it nice and dark in here? I need to put a lid on this as well. This is far too bright and beautiful for a dungeon, don't you think? All right, so we're gonna come over here into our scripts. We're gonna create a folder for our player, or maybe controller, I'm not sure. But we'll create a script. That's gonna be our, it doesn't like player controller is like reserved. We're not supposed to do player controller. Ooh, Art's bringing the bugs. We're gonna call this player character controller, maybe. What's a good name for the camera placement? Player character controller. We'll do that for now. You're not supposed to call things player controllers. That's like a reserved thing. But namespace captain coder.dungeoneering. All right. format that up. Here we go. But Art, I'm so glad you can make it this morning, or this afternoon, my friend. I'm so glad you can make it. You were inspired by Mooniz. Yeah, Mooniz has an awesome, I love the little cloud clapping. I think that might be my favorite one. Yeah. All right, here we go. Player controller. We're gonna have a couple things here. So we're gonna have a public. Should I create a class called position specifically? Or should I just choose an int? I think it might. Let's see, is that overkill? Does it make sense to have an X and Y? Because you don't have an X or a Y really by itself all that often. Do I want to make that painful? Art, the clapping cloud makes me happy every time I see it. I agree. It's such a good one. Well, let's start with an int. You might want to change just the X or just the Y. So we'll do that. Yeah. So we'll have int X. X. We'll make this a property, public int Y. And we'll probably end up having some kind of bounds on it. Okay, so int X, int Y. And then we sort of need to position ourselves inside of the dungeon. Grid has a cell size. So this probably needs to go somewhere that's not grid builder. This should just be in like a grid class. I think this needs to be a grid class. File new grid.cs. I think there's going to be a public static class. We'll make it grid. Does grid need to be a static class? I'm not sure. Art says, sadly, I must leave soon as I have a busy afternoon. Fair enough. No worries, my friend. I'm glad you were able to make it at all. But I'm home for a bit over an hour and thought that you might be on really nice and really nice to drop in for the positive atmosphere. I promise I will try your marble game soon. If you want to have a good time, don't play the marble game. Don't play if you want to enjoy yourself. Don't play the marble game. But if you feel like punishing yourself, the marble game is an excellent way to do it. So if you want to punish yourself a little bit, if you're looking for some pain, marble games is all right. But I had an absolute blast making it. Real C-Dub Gaming, hello, my friend. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the crew. How are you, Royal C-Dub? Grid. And this is going to have the const there. This is going to be pulled out. Should really add in some unit tests, but we'll make this a const here. It needs to be a float, because we're going to be changing that grid size down to 2.5, I'm pretty sure. So it should be grid dot. Does not contain addition. Grid does not. Yes, it does. Static. Aren't they already? Aren't consts static by default? Royal C-Dub has to go to school. Oh, well, enjoy your school day. I didn't mean, oh, you have to go to school. Some people like school. I love teaching. I always enjoyed school. But thanks for popping in. Have a beautiful day. Remember, Royal C-Dub, you're always welcome back here. You're always welcome here. Private member public. Oh, I gotta make it public. That's why. There we go. All right, so we have a cell size. Art says that sounds like the reverse psychology way of telling me to play it on stream. You should. That would be very enjoyable to watch, I think. You might actually, and it might be a little bit less frustrating on stream, because I could tell you, oh, this is how you access the options menu. It's how you access the so what I will say, Art, is when you go to play it, remember, if gamepad is best. I think gamepad's best, but if you don't have a gamepad, remember that the escape key will get you to this, where you can adjust the mouse sensitivity and how the mouse works. Other people, apparently I'm the only person in the world that uses inverted mouse controls. And that's what the default is. So be sure to switch those to whatever you prefer, and the mouse sensitivity lower. Most people don't like it as high as I have it. But if you have a gamepad, highly recommend. Highly recommend using a gamepad. But yeah, there are no easy levels. That's the biggest mistake as far as making it a releasable and playable game. It is not playable. All right, so we're gonna have some backing fields for our private int x backing field for y, and when we set these, it's gonna translate us to the appropriate location in the scene. So get's going to go to this, and then set actually will update our position in the game. G says, wait, games need to be playable now? No, they don't need to be playable. Adventure Quest was horribly unplayable. The only playable, all of the things I've produced have been pretty unplayable so far. Moon News says, it reminds me of that video game reporter who couldn't get past the jump in the Cuphead tutorial in 10 minutes. Cuphead's, so I love me hard games. I feel so like, in my mind, I'm like, I want to make the super the marble game that's like the Super Meat Boy of marble rolling games. That's what I want. That's what I want to make. To be fair, I guess to be fair is not the right thing, but I do think my game is easier than Marble Madness. If anyone's played Marble Madness, I do think my game is a bit easier than the original Marble Madness, but that game was invented, specifically created to eat quarters. G says, I thought Cuphead looked really hard, so I'm not going to play it. I love Cuphead. Cuphead is so good. All right, so we're going to take in the X value, and then when this value changes, we're going to update our game object. I don't have to do game object. I can just do transform dot position equals new vector 3, and we got an XY. So we got our X. I think I'm using X there. Yeah, 0 is probably wrong. We probably want an I height, and then Z is going to be our Y value, and we got to multiply that by our grid size. All right, times grid.cell size. It's going to put us, this should put us in the center because, I think this will put us in the center because all of our everything's based off the center of the tile. Moon says, I am a fan of 2D platformers. Who would have thought when I'm making one myself? Yeah, I love 2D platformers. I loved Super Meat Boy. That was one of my favorite games of all time. I should say is one of my favorite games of all time. I've bought it several times. I have it for PC, Xbox, and Switch, I believe. I might even have it for PS4. It's one of the few games I've actually done. I think I have 100%ed it on my Xbox, the old Xbox 360, I think. Love it. One of the few games I think I've 100%ed. But what's the other? There's another platformer. They Bleed Pixels. Yeah, I don't have 106% Moonez. I did not 106% it. Is that the max you can get on it? I'm assuming. I don't remember. G says, I think I've made a Metroidvania clone during a Ludum Dare once already, but that was more of a joke. Mooney says, yes, it's doing all the glitch levels in each world. I haven't been able to beat all of the glitch worlds, though some of those are just basically impossible. I've thought about writing a program to beat them. Yeah. Some of them are just crazy. They're too hard. I love the frustration, but there comes a point when you've died, you have not been able to beat a level for 2 hours. Muniz, I beat them myself. I wrote the code to do it. Yes, exactly. That's exactly my thought. All right, so when we awake, these will be serializable. All right, so our player's XY position will be serializable. Art says, okay, I am leaving. Have a beautiful day, Art. As always, keep coding, keep growing, keep building up those skills. Take care of yourself, my friend, and you're welcome back anytime. I hope to catch your stream later. G says it's called a cheat code. Exactly. Okay. So when these change, let us also do a void protected. Moonray Murray says, 2 hours. I've spent days trying to beat all the bosses in Binding of Isaac with the no-hit character. Well, so no, I'm talking about like a single scene level in Super Meat Boy. Game is insane. Like literally seeing the exact same thing. It's not like I'm going and doing anything aside from trying to get, anyway, a little bit different. Yeah, 2 hours though. Only 2 hours? Probably way more than that. I think I have 300 or 400 hours in Super Meat Boy. It's ridiculous. I love it. That's such a good game though. So Awake. When we wake up, we are going to do, we need to update our position. Let me write a little helper here. Private void update position. All right, so update position is actually just, excuse me. Gonna do this, and then these we'll just call update position. And we could actually have a little thing here that says, I want to do this in my awake again here. So when we wake up, we update position to move our player to that spot. Let's add in a variable called eye height, I think. Private float eye level. Let's try 2.5. I think that'll be, I think we need to stretch our walls out taller anyway, but 2.5, just so that we have something that we can put here. And maybe there's, in the game, you can have a setting that changes your eye height. So this will move our player to a spot. And then I'm gonna add in a cinema machine camera to follow the player. But let's just, this is gonna go to 0, 0, of course. Let's add in a cinema machine camera, virtual camera. All right, and this is going to follow the player, look at the player. All right, so then when our player moves, interesting though, can I do, all right, maybe I should, protected void on validate, update position. So if we were to change it there, all right, Moon is, we're using on validate everywhere. Okay, our player actually doesn't have this. Player character controller. I should probably call this like placement controller. It did update it though, so nice. It does update it. My camera here. Shouldn't my camera just, all right, so if my game camera did move, I think. So if I update my player here, 1, 1. That's kind of cool. G says, nope, too hard for me. I also really should finish Baba first. I did finish the easy ending of Talos Principle on stream. I might go do the harder ending, but I might just go stream some other game. Gotcha. Talos Principle looks so cool. I think I need to try that game. I've heard such good things about it, and it looks so cool. I'm assuming you would recommend it if you finished it, G. All right. So yes, this does update our position. We got to add in a facing for, I do like that, like how quickly it snaps and updates the player to the right spot. That's pretty cool. At the eye level, yeah, and we could potentially have the camera. Anyway, so this is gonna be, I'm gonna end up with 4 cameras, northeast, southwest, with which direction you end up facing. G says, yes, definitely recommend if you like 3D first person puzzlings and tetromino puzzles. Ooh, those all sound like things I like. I love games like Myst, I think it's called The Stranger. And Tetris is one of my favorite games of all time. Okay. We need a rotation as well. All right. So we also need a facing. I'm gonna create an enum type, an enumerated type called direction. Direction dot cs namespace captain coder dot dungeoneering public enum facing a direction. Maybe I should call it facing. Facing feels like a better name for this. Facing. Facing. Okay. And so we'll have north, east, south, west. Those are the facings you can have. This will be helpful for putting walls in as well. So like in a room, you could say you have all your different directions. Do you have a wall northeast, southwest? And if so, then it should be rendered in a specific way. All right, so then our player character, let's let this build real quick. Boom, boom. All right. Facing, player character. And rather than player character controller, I want this to be, it's like a placement controller, or like player position controller. So this controls where the player's positioned in the world. So let's go refactor that name. G says, I still have other games to do in that genre. The Witness, that's what I was thinking of, not The Stranger. The Witness is such a good game. Player position controller. The Witness is so good. I loved that game. And we will have a private, is it Taiji? Private facing, and we'll start out facing just player, facing dot north. And I'm gonna import this one statically. These ones I think make sense. These ones aren't confusing to import statically. With static using cap encoder dungeoneering dot facing. Is it using static? There we go. Because these ones I think make sense. Just readability northeast, southwest. You know it's a facing. Mooniz, what are your thoughts on that? Or everybody, what's your thoughts on that? Does this one make sense to import this way? It's not so specific to like the game states. The last time there was like game states that were really, really awkward. You just like them in general? I kind of like not having to type facing dot north, facing dot east, facing dot south. Mostly confuses. Gotcha. G says, I like magic numbers. I feel like interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not sure how I feel about it. On the last time, it made a lot of sense. Like your argument of like, oh, it's so not readable. In that case, they were not just like northeast, southwest. It was like, movement state, falling state. It was like move, fall. Facing could be a class. That's true. I see. That's a really good point. Okay, Mooniz, I really, really like that point in that it lets you know that it is, it's very, very clear. Maybe not very clear. It's more clear that this happens to be a enum. It could still be a class, right? It could still be a class, but I think this gives you a more of an idea that it isn't a class. Chex Party says, didn't know static using was a thing. Yeah, so it allows you to access, it works for static variables as well. So if you have a static field or something, it allows you to access it directly as though it were just a variable. I think Muniz, I think you make a really, really good argument about readability and saying like, well, I know for sure that this thing, The only reason I don't like it is on this declaration line I have facing twice. I think that is the thing, is what I don't like about it. Down here though, when I'm gonna be updating it potentially, I like it here because I can see what it is. Whereas if it was just east, I'd say like, well, what is the data type here? What's going on here? Yeah, so I think the argument for readability makes sense. It's sort of the same reason I hate when people use just VAR for all of their variables. You know, for me, having VAR reduces readability. Muniz said, or G says, I think that it's useful in small programs like AOC stuff, but for longer programs, you should make sure you remember how you did stuff later. Yeah, I think for readability, it makes sense because you look at this, go like, oh, there's a class here, and I can hover over that and say, oh, this is an enum. Okay, I think I'm sold on that. I think I'm sold on that. Thank you, Muniz, for your input. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Back in number one, Muniz. Back at number one. All right, so, oh, I need to make this actually also serialized field. I'm gonna serialize this field as well. This should be a public facing, and this will also have a get that goes to our facing and a set value and then update position. So this will change the camera as well. Oh, maybe it doesn't change the camera. It actually needs to notify someone that we changed. So we actually need a listener on our position so our camera can know that we've changed. Okay, so I'm gonna add in, so this actually doesn't update our position. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Well, we still need a public, we still need to be able to access it and potentially set it from outside. I'm not 100% sure. These might actually need to be private sets. I'm not sure. We're gonna leave it for now. He says 491 people already. That's how many people have spent. So the Stream Elements bot records people in chat every 10 minutes. Like at every 10-minute interval, it will record who's here. And so that we've had 491 unique people come to the stream that were here long enough to be recorded by Stream Elements, which is kind of cool to think about. Sometimes people pop in and leave before that. Yeah, I've also deleted a handful of bots, I think, out of there. I'm not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. Mooney says, I can almost get the C# and .NET bundle now. Only 1.3K points. Uh-oh, I better up that price. I better up that price. When I first set those, all the prices are way too high, by the way. I was worried that everything was going to be, you know, picked up right away by everybody. Yeah, I know you do actually. I think you've mentioned you already had it, but I think they don't. No one wants anything from there, so I don't know what to do. I was trying to build engagement, but clearly that was unnecessary. We're gonna add in a change, public. Unity. Oh, so we need Unity events in here using Unity engine.events. Check says you'll be surprised how much people just like having a lot of points and displaying it. It's true. It's true. That's why Moonez does it. I'm kidding, Moonez. But yeah, a lot of people, not a lot, but I've had a handful of people just come around being like, look how many points, you know, constantly checking their points. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. G says, I usually just buy the $1 Humble Bundles already. That's another thing. I think a lot of people already just have the Humble Bundles, so it's not like they need them. Literally, the store's just full of my extra junk. So I guess that's you know, on on base on change facing. There we go. Get private set, and we'll go ahead and serialize this. And just in case it doesn't exist, we'll create a new one. And it says, look at my numbers, it's bigger than yours. Check says, most of us are adults who can buy stuff, but maybe you get some aspiring young users who need those awards. A couple people have, so I have had a few redemptions. I think I've had 2 or 3 game redemptions. I'd have to look. I think it's either 2 or 3 game redemptions, and they were from people who were younger, and I thought that was pretty cool. I really did. I thought that was really cool that they got them. They were really excited about the games that they got too. And so that was really cool. I think it would be, yeah, so you know, it was my, people had asked me why I don't have points, why I'm not an affiliate, and so I put that in there to satisfy people saying that they weren't getting points, so. Yeah. Okay, so on change, on face change, doesn't update the position. We do an on face change dot invoke like that with our new facing. So this is going to allow our camera to yeah, it'll allow our camera to see it. G says, yeah, I have way too many free Epic games already, so I'll leave the games to everyone else. Mooney says, I'm thinking about doing giveaways on stream. I only have like 300 games through Humble Bundles and Humble Choice that I'm not going to play. Yeah, I've thought about doing giveaways as well, but people haven't been interested in the games I have anyway, so I don't think I actually have anything to give away. G says, I might never be able to finish my backlog already. Checks Party, too many games, a little time. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. That is exactly how I feel. All right, so we got our facing here. Updates to other people. Okay, we got to add in controls. We're going to add in controls here. And I learned last time that it seemed to make sense to create a singleton for like our game controls. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Movement controls. MLPuck says, are you interested in giving away a physical thing, mail something to the winner? I am. Oh. When I go on break, remind me, I do have things that I want, I do have some things to give away. Physical things that I'm gonna mail to people. I don't think they're in this room though. I am excited about that. I just have, that is something that I'm gonna figure out what I've been thinking about adding it to the store, but I'm not quite sure logistically as far as mailing stuff. These are small things. These are small things that I could fit in a bubbler mailer. It'd probably have to be in continental United States, Canada, Mexico. I'm not sure about international mail. That the international one might be hard to do, but I do have little things that I think I'd love. So I do have, you know, things like my dad made me these stickers, which I think might be cool to give away and mail out. So I have these stickers. So these are like little stickers you could put on stuff. My dad made these for me, which I think is really cool. So I might do something like that and just like it's in an envelope, you know, cost me a stamp, 50 cents or something. I think that would be a really, really cool thing to do. I have some shirts too. My dad made me a couple shirts. I think shirts might be cool to give away to people. Those would be more expensive to ship. And then I have socks. The thing that I was going to say is I'm going to give away. I have like 200 pairs of socks with my face on them. When I was working at a physical school, I used to give them away to my students before the AP tests. So there would be like, they'd finish their class project. And I would say, when you finish your project, you get a pair of these socks with my face. And it's like the most ridiculous face on them. You get a pair of these socks, and these socks are guaranteed to increase. These are magic socks. They're guaranteed to increase your AP score by at least and up to 3%. And so the day of the AP, they would all be wearing them. It was awesome. And so I have a big box full of them still. And so I think it would be fun to do that as a giveaway, or having them in the Stream Elements shop for people to redeem for like 20,000 points or something. I don't know what it would be, but those would be easy to mail because it'd be, you know, $1 in a bubble mailer, $1 in a bubble mailer in the United States. Shiny Games, happy Tuesday, my friend. Welcome aboard. Yes, exactly, Unity Coder, +3 intelligence, +3 intelligence. Shiny Games, welcome aboard, my friend. Happy to have you here. Welcome to the crew. Welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. How are you today on this beautiful Tuesday? Dungeoneering. So here we're gonna have our public static class movement controls. And it's gonna be part of our user inputs here. You gotta remember how to get this. Captain Coder's Academy. Shady Game says, not that bad, actually. Working on some procedural generation for levels. Yeah, that's sort of what we're gonna be doing as well. My end goal here for this project is to explore procedural generation of dungeons, of like 3D rendered but like 2-dimensional grid-based dungeons. So I'm pretty excited about that. We have like this grid editor type thing going. No, not doing any procedural part yet, just generation. But eventually we're gonna add in some procedural generation. So I'm excited about that. And that's eventually what the plan is for this one. Okay, how do I get this? This is going to be user inputs dot iMovement actions. What is the interface to access this? Close all. Moving controller. Shady says, nice. Me, it's more like a 2D shoot 'em up, so it's a matter of having some interesting enemy spawn depending on the difficulty sense. Nice, that sounds cool. We did a little bit of that at the end of December, I think. I don't know if I have that, if I published that on itch or not. I have a different one though. So this one is, I wouldn't call it procedurally generated, but it does have like spawn rates and stuff for the enemies showing up, and it progressively gets harder. So this one here is a shmup that I did for the Tri-Jam. So this is a 3-hour game with enemies like that, and your weapon randomly changes, and you have enemies randomly spawning in there. But I'm excited to see it. If you have something you'd like to show off, let me know. Of course not. This it's shiny. See, shiny games. Oh wow, I'm surprised it is shiny games. I actually was thinking it was the other way, but my stream is PG. This is a PG rated stream. Yeah, don't post links here. If you have something to share, let me know. You can post them on the Discord. If you'd like to. You don't have to join the Discord, but if you'd like to, you can. And if you want to post a link here, just let me know. I can post it anyway. If you want to post links, let me know. Thank you for the warning, G. Movement controls here. We're gonna make a, what is it? User inputs dot movement actions. There it is. That's cool that there's an iMovement actions. It has an interface version of it. That's cool. Here we go. We got public static iMovement actions, movement control actions like this. Get that. What is this complaining about? All right, we'll have a private static user input actions, movement actions, and this, when we go to get it, it will do movement actions. This is actually just going to get. Oh no! If it's not initialized yet, we'll say if movement actions is null. Movement actions is going to be equal to new user inputs dot movement actions. All right. Oh no! New user inputs. This needs to be user input. User inputs Oh, let's see. I'm gonna go for the name. We got a new chatter. Let me see if I can get it. Igor Rafael Santos. Is it Igor or Igor? Igor Rafael Santos, the 22nd. That's a long generation. You got, the 22nd. Igor Rafael Santos, the 22nd. Welcome aboard, my son. They ask, are you creating a game? So that's an interesting question. Maybe not as interesting as I might think it is. We are making, give me just a second here. There's no setter on this. Return user inputs dot movement. It should be movement actions. In this one, we are developing a procedurally generated dungeon, a dungeon generator that I'm planning to use in the Dungeon Crawl Game Jam, which is in April. So I'm creating components for this engine that I'm going to use for this game jam, which is in April. And so in a sense, I'm making a game, but I'm making a component of a game. So one of the big goals of this is to learn how I could do procedural generation. And when I was setting out, so this is the third day of working on it. On Monday, when we started this, I specifically said, this one's not going to be a game, but instead tools for helping me make a game. That way my scope doesn't get out of control making a full game. Igor, I hope that answered your question. And please let me know if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Shidi asks, oh, you made a namespace. What's the purpose? Great question. It's a way of organizing your code. So you, in the past, I'm sure you've seen using, right? You've seen using like this. These are namespaces. So this is where you put a collection of related classes and structs, records, functions. So in my case, I'm doing captaincoder.dungeoneering. So this will separate it from anything else. So there might be a class called movement controls in some other package. Now it won't be a conflict with that name because it's in my Captain Coder Dungeoneering namespace. Another, I don't know if benefit's the right word, but if you're in the same namespace, you don't have to use the using. It just can find all the things in your assembly, assuming they're in the same assembly. It can find those things. So it's an organizational tool provided by C# for constructing how you can organize your code into chunks that rely on each other. It's considered a really good practice. Check says, if you organize your code with namespace, you can easily see your dependencies and help readability. The goal is to help readability, exactly. Although, just like with anything, namespaces can get out of control. All right, we almost got this here. And then we're gonna enable, user input.enable. Go ahead and enable them. And then we'll add in a public static void enable goes to user input.movement.enable and then public static void disable user input.movement.disable, like that. So we've put this together. All right. Movement controls. We might even just rename this to controls, actually. Controls. Yeah, I think I like controls a little bit better. And then if we add multiple different control types, we can do that. Shady says, reminds me of the conflict-based system and Unity engine each time I use. Yeah, so people often ask, I often do this thing where I use system dot instead of importing system, and it's for that exact reason. I'm gonna rename this movement like that. Okay, maybe movement actions is fine. Movement actions. Name. I'm bad at naming. You may find I'm terrible at naming. All right, so our player position controller now. Check says, yeah, you can reuse the same name in different namespaces. Yeah, that's the whole point of it. And so I will often do the following. I usually don't import system. I usually do system dot something like I do system.serializable so that there's no conflict. Igor asks, so this game will be released on Steam. Probably not on Steam, but on my itch page. I'll probably release it on itch page, or if this is good enough, I might put it in the Unity store. This is more of a building, a framework for building a dungeon rather than an actual game itself. But if you want to check out my creations, you can check out CaptainCoder.itch.io. If you wanna get that itch and scratch it, check it out there. We finished a very difficult platformer last time, so I'm constantly changing my projects. Every week or two we do something new. Right now our pace has been every 2 weeks. This one I'm not sure how long we're gonna take. Muna says lots of namespaces, classic ASP core startup file. In our current one I have 39. Yeah, in my Blazor application, and like everything is just imported by default as well. Feels like a bad practice, but at the same time, do you want to have 50 imports at the top of every file? Who knows? What's the way to do it? Who knows? Only the nose knows. All right, so when we wake up, we are going, so this controller, we're gonna have in it, let's group these together. We're gonna have a move. All right, so private void, so we have our different controls are forward, backwards, strafe left, strafe right, so forward. All right, so we're gonna do move forward. Unicoder says, side question, if you have generic tools class, how to namespace it nicely? Company.tools would add tools twice. So you probably shouldn't have a class called tools. So my generic thing is if you have a class called tools, it's so generic that something's gone wrong. You have a namespace called tools and you have class, you might have a namespace called tools or utilities, and then inside of that you'd have classes like string extensions. So each of your classes should, so that's an indication that your class is probably named poorly, in my opinion. Because what goes in tools, it's too generic. How am I going to know looking at the name? Well, what's in there? I have to click to open it to find it. I would recommend breaking it out into different classes that are like string extensions or string tools, vector tools, so that way at least your brain can manifest it. Unicoder says all the tools, but yeah. So tools I think is a reasonable namespace, but not a good class name. Exactly. Moon is, what does your tools do? That's the class name. It does the tooling, Moon is, of course. Move left, private void, move right. Maybe I just have a move. Hang on. I'm breaking this up into several ones. So my plan is I'm going to be taking in a vector 2 move, and then I need to decide based on my facing how I'm going to move. So if I'm facing north, move dot. Oh, what's interesting is we could potentially, because it's on this axis thing, it's a value. Ooh, I don't know. Interesting. I didn't think about this. My vector 2 could have multiple. Yeah, something like that. But my vector 2 should really, I can't move diagonal is the thing. So maybe vector 2 is the wrong input here is what I'm thinking. We got to zero out one of them. But it shouldn't actually be on facing. So it's a vector 2 should translate to, all right. So really what we want is, given my move, move needs to be rotate based on facing. And then you just add in the X value or the Y value. So let's give an example here. let's give an example here. I'd say, yeah. So let me see here. So I kind of want like my int x move. Let me think here. If I'm facing north, what do my controls feel like is the question. If I'm facing north and I press forward, all right. So let me put some comments in here just so my brain can handle it. Multi-line comments, I never use those these days, but I'm glad it exists. All right, so if I'm facing north, and I press, so if my Y is up, I move forward. If I'm facing east, Y up moves X plus 1. If I'm facing south, Y moves down. And if I'm facing east, X changes that way. So yeah, it's based off my facing which way north is. All right, so we need to translate this vector 2 into just a combination of X and Y's. My input I guess your input is the enum facing. So my input's actually going to be up, down, left, right, and my facing translates the input. So if I happen to be facing north and someone presses the up key, I need to move my Y. My Y needs to increase by 1. If I'm facing south and someone presses the up key, I need to decrease by 1. So there's a translation that needs to happen when my vector, so I need to take my vector 2 and apply a facing to it. Does that make sense? So it's sort of like, and so I'm going to write it out here, and there might be a better way to do it. But we're going to say vector. The vector is the same for each facing. Yeah, exactly. Translate my vector. Translated is going to be equal to my move. So my facing switch, right? So my facing, if I'm facing north, facing dot north, it's going to be something else. Move input is axis. Yeah, so this is like the D-pad northeast southwest. Unicode, by the way, there's vector 2 int also if no floats. If no need floats. So this is gonna end up being a vector int here. Thank you, Unicoder. Shiny, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Welcome aboard. It's happy to have you as part of the crew. Happy to have you as part of the crew. So if we're facing north, right? My vector 2, my Y doesn't change. So it's still move dot Y, and I don't want to cast it to an int. I want it to round up. So do I need to do math f dot round up? Is there a round up in math app? It's called sealing, right? Seal to int. All right, so my Y doesn't change, but if I decided to go right, that's plus. So these don't change. Okay, so we're gonna sealing it. All right, so north is like the normal. We're gonna say north is normal. North is normal. If we're doing south, these become inverted, right? If I'm facing the opposite direction, it's inverted. If I'm facing east, if I'm facing east, if X is positive, that means I'm pressing right, that's normal. And then Y becomes negative. If I had pressed up, that's going to move me. Oh, no, it's positive. It's positive. Interesting. So east is the same. Is that right? All right, I'm facing. Sorry. So I gotta put. I feel like Joey from Friends. I gotta put myself. I gotta put myself in the map. And anyone ever seen Friends where Joey's like, they're in London. He's holding the map. He's like, hang on. Let me get in the map. He like sets the map down and like stands on it. That's what I feel like I'm doing right now. Moona says your way of thinking need to switch Y and X on east, right? Yes, Moon is exactly. That's why my brain couldn't handle it. You're exactly right. Moon is for putting yourself in the map. For putting yourself in the map. You know what that means. 50 points to you, Moon is. You put yourself in the map. Oh, Stream Elements is down. Stream Elements is down, my friend. No points for you. No points for you. And then I believe that this is just inverted for west. Yeah, Stream Elements is down. F. They're under maintenance. They're under maintenance. They said they'll be back. They'll be back in 30 minutes to an hour is I think what they said. So here's our translated vector. So we're gonna give this a shot, see if we move properly. Our facing's not gonna, the camera's not gonna actually face where we want yet. But we get this facing, and then really I only want one of these things. I don't want to be able to move diagonally in this game. So then I sort of will say the fall, and I'll say like, you know, what's the easy? I'm trying to think, is there a nice, easy way to do this without, yes, you can rotate a vector if you want instead of thinking about each situation. What would I do here to rotate it, Moon? Is this literally just rotating the vector? That kind of makes sense. This is probably slightly, do you think this is more performant than rotating a vector? Probably not. Move. I still have to like do this thing though, right? Vector to int. Yeah, my brain, I wanted to think it through. We'll say that this thing is gonna have an int coming in, and then we'll do move.rotate, or how do I, vector2.rotate? Vector2.rotate. How do I rotate it? Where's the rotation? Where's the rotation? Move, there's no rotate here. Vector 2 dot. Where is the, help me out. Oh, that seems, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. This is much more clear in my mind. I don't need to bring quaternions into this. We're gonna do this, I think. So I'd do a 90-degree angle. Maybe it makes sense. I think I'm okay with this though. All right. We'll keep this as a vector too. And it's really gonna have like a callback context on it. So this will actually be like a callback context, I believe. So call back context, and then we can get a vector 2 out of it, I believe. Checkpoint says, is this dungeon going to be like those old 90s screensavers? Exactly. That's exactly right. Well, it's because it's integer rotation, Moonis. The thing is, it's integer-based rotation, so I don't want to bring in the element of floatiness. I don't want to bring in the elements of floatiness. That's my main reason. If I was doing like more than 90 degrees, then it would probably be okay. Sine and cosine rotations. That'd be far worse, actually, for sure, far worse. Is it not callback context? I thought it was callback context. I have to go look at, all right. Unity events, system callback context. Callback context. In what namespace are you? I'm just slightly, Using Unity engine dot input system dot using static dot call. Why can't I do this? Why won't you let me? Oh, capital C. I bet it'll show up now. There we go. How do you feel about this static import, Moonness? How do you feel about this one? That's what it wants you to do for the callback context because it's a struct. And then our move is going to be context dot read value vector 2 int. Can I just do it as a vector 2 int like this? Let's see if that works out for us. Moon says name says what it is. Yeah, for importing the types there, that makes sense. It's not a variable, right? Cannot convert. Oh, vector to int. Well, is it gonna let me do this? Is it gonna let me do it? Check. G says time for coffee. I know. I really wanted to finish this before my break. G, thank you so much for the reminder. We have been going for 30 minutes. I am gonna stop here. I'm gonna stop here once I finish this, and I am gonna get coffee. I can tell because my legs are feeling it too. Give me just a second to finish that one up here. Probably not gonna let me do it. It's gonna tell me I can't. All right, we'll go back. I'm gonna go. Well, it'll be good to know. I can always go back. We can always go back. We can always go back. We can make it. We can go deeper. All right, we're gonna pause here. I do need to get some coffee. Shiny said Tuesday. Yeah, you'll find I get my days mixed up here. Every day is the same here in Captain Coderland. Every day is wake up in code day. Gee, thank you so much for the reminder on taking a break, my friend, for helping me stay healthy. 50 points to you. Oh, Stream Elements is down. No points for anybody. No points for anybody. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. I am gonna go get some more coffee, get some more water. We're gonna hydrate. We're gonna come back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I will be back very, very soon. Where are the dancing coffee cups? Here we go. See you guys soon. Enjoy the sweet, sweet sounds of Stream Beats. All right, everybody. The captain's back. Sorry to keep you waiting. I apologize. I apologize for keeping you waiting. Gee, thank you so much for the reminder to take a quick break here. It's good for me. It's good for everyone. Where's that go? Is it? It says Happy Wednesday on my stream though. All right, people were saying should buy Captain a large digital display showing the current day. I don't think that would help. I don't think that would help. I'd have to take up my whole monitor. Although every time we go to do it, we could have it on my wall here, just like a ticker up on the wall that, you know, has the day always. That's not a bad idea. What was Moon is? Oh yeah, Moon is that. Or we could just tell him on stream that it's Tuesday. Wait, is today Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday. You guys got me. You guys got me. All right, need an OBS solution to get the current day. Also, you need to enter a plug into display next to the play button. Look. I get it right a couple times per stream. But we're back from break. You know what that means? I just almost tried to sip my coffee. It's way too hot. It's way too hot. We gotta. You know what it means? Everybody up. Everybody up. We're gonna do some stretching here. If you're at work, that's okay. Get up too. Get your coworkers in. If you're at home, go grab your mom, grab your dad, pull them in, bring them in. We're gonna do some stretching. Because, you know, as a coder, as a programmer, we're all hunched over our computers like little programming trolls. It's not good for your body. You gotta get up, you gotta move around, get that blood flowing. So we're gonna do some stretches. All right, everybody, take your arms, bring them back, and then bring them around. Give yourself a nice big hug. See if you can grab those shoulder blades. Can't grab those shoulder blades, though, that's okay. Get as far as you can. Give yourself a nice big hug. Give a nice squeeze. Pulling it in. Oh yeah, doesn't that feel good? We're gonna hold this for 25 seconds, 30 seconds, but we're about in there. 20 more seconds. Hold it. You gotta keep that body in shape. You're all lovely people. You deserve to be loved, so why not give yourself a nice big hug? 10 more seconds here. Hold it nice and tight. You should feel that stretch across the back there. Oh yeah. All right, let it go. Ooh, that feels good. All right, let's do some shoulder rolls. We'll start with the left shoulder. We'll go back. 2, 3, 4. Elbow. 2, 3, 4. Full arm. 2, 3. Oh, that one feels good. I'm gonna do this one more than 4. Got a little bit of ooh, yeah. Got a little bit of right there. Working a little something out there. All right, let's bring it forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. With the elbow. 2, 3, 4. Full arm. 2, 3, 4. Let's switch sides. All right, we're gonna do the right side now. Bring it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add the elbow. 2, 3, 4. Full arm. 2, 3, 4. Bring it forward. 2, 3, 4. Add an elbow. 2, 3, 4. Full arm. 2, 3, 4. All right, shake it out. All right, we're gonna do forearm stretch here. Take that arm, put it straight out. Don't lock the elbow. Grab those fingertips and pull back slightly until you feel a little bit of a stretch. Don't pull back too hard. You don't want to hurt yourself. But this one's great for if you're typing all day. Really stretch that muscle out. Get it in there, nice. You don't want to end up with carpal tunnel like I got. I got carpal tunnel on my right side, not my left side, just my right side. Ooh, that feels good. Ooh, it's so good. I hope you're doing this stretch with me. I hope you're getting it in. You're feeling it. It's nice. It's nice for you to do it. I hope you got your dog in here stretching with you. Your cat, your fish, whichever one you got. 15 more seconds, then we're gonna switch here. Oh yeah. All right. And give it a nice little wrist roll there. And now we're gonna switch direction. We're gonna go across the top. You're gonna pull down this time. Pull down. Don't hurt yourself. If it hurts, you're doing it too hard. Don't hurt yourself. You want to love yourself. Give yourself that love that you deserve. You deserve to be loved, and the person who should love you the most is yourself. All right, we're gonna hold this for another 15 seconds, and then we're gonna switch to our left side. Oh, doesn't that feel great though? Doesn't that feel nice? Right. Oh yeah, roll that wrist out. Roll that wrist out, nice. All right, we're gonna switch sides, starting with the forearm stretch. Go ahead and pull that back. Straight arm, don't lock it though. Don't lock it. Don't lock that elbow. You don't want to cut off the blood flow. The whole point of this is to get that blood flowing through your body. Oh yeah, I love this one. This is like my favorite stretch. Very, very nice stretch. Here we go. 10 more seconds, and then we're gonna switch to pulling it down, stretch out the top of our arm next. Doesn't that feel wonderful? Doesn't it feel great, grand, beautiful? And we'll switch directions here. We're gonna go down now. Oh yeah. This will be our last stretch, and we're gonna hop back into our coding here. But yeah, you want to get up, you want to move it around. You want to make sure that blood keeps flowing. You got to take care of yourself, take care of your body. Even if it's just something simple like stretching. It's really, really good for you. Oh, 5 more seconds here. 2, 1, all right. Shake it out. Just some wrist rolls there, shake it out. We're gonna hop back in. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me in that stretch. We'll see if Stream Elements is back. Let's see if Stream Elements is back. Normally I know all of you guys are stretching with me. Normally I love to get, there it is, Stream Elements is back. Welcome back, Stream Elements. 50 points to everyone who's here, who joined me in this momentous occasion of stretching. I appreciate you being here with me. All 17 of you, that's so kind. That's so kind. Thank you for stretching it out with me. Doesn't it feel good? Shady, I'm glad you enjoyed that. It's so good for us. We forget, it's so easy to forget when you're doing something sedentary like that, we're just sitting still. It's so easy to forget to take care of yourself. So G, once again, G, thank you so much for reminding me to get my coffee break here. Here, have those 50 points. And I think Moon is at some point, I owed you 50 points. So let's see if we can get that in there. There we go. There we go. All right. Let us take a look and see if this translation works. For now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, our X, we got to do it this way. X plus equals translated. We're going to fix this in a minute. Dot X. And our Y is going to be our translated dot Y. Only one of these, you should only be able to move one of these. Right now, if you press them both at the same time, the vector might come in at an angle, especially if it was on an analog stick. We want to make sure you can only do one of those. But we're gonna test out, see if this works here. And in our awake, when our movement controller wakes up, we are gonna register this. So movement. Are we not in the namespace here? Engineering, movement controls. Controls. All right, I need to rename this file to just controls. There we go. And we're gonna do, in our player control, we need to register this. So we're gonna do controls. What? I need to set up a soundboard here. I need to get that JonTron what sound. Yeah, stretching also makes my coffee the perfect temperature. It's always it's a little too spicy to drink right after I brew it and pour it out. But after the stretching, it's like the perfect amount of time. Controls dot, here we go. Movement actions. Dot movement dot performed. Or is it started? Because I don't want you to be able to hold it. So I think I actually need to just do dot started. So when you click it, this happens, but it doesn't continue to fire. So started, I believe, happens once the first time you press it. All right, and this shouldn't be called move forward. This should be called move. Or maybe even process move. But we're gonna register our move method here on this controller. Maybe I want I'm not gonna worry about disabling it just yet. I need to think about that because those controls are probably gonna be for accessing menu stuff. In this one, I don't think we have to worry about it too much. But I'm gonna actually do protected void disable. Or is it on disable? Is it on disable? There we go. Here we go. We're actually gonna do it this way. So private void on enable. Can someone tell me, is on enable called at the same time awake happens? Does anyone know? Do I have to also put this in awake? Or can I do on enabled here? We'll find out very shortly, actually. Because the player's already enabled, right, in the scene, so I'm not sure. But I'm assuming that this gets called during initialization, but I'm curious if it's before awake, after awake, or after on play. I'm just curious about the order. Is on enable called at the same time awake is? Is it before or after or start? Right, so you have awake. Awake happens before start. And when does on enable happen? Does it happen after start? The order, it'd just be good for me to know. Andres, thank you so much for the compliment, my friend. I appreciate that. Happy Friday, my friend. Happy Friday. Welcome aboard. No, happy Wednesday. Everyone here is giving me a hard time as I keep saying the wrong day. But happy Wednesday, Andres. Welcome aboard. How are you today? Nix with the eyes. Nix with the eyes. Happy, I keep saying I get around. Happy Wednesday, Nix. Oh boy, oh. And Immortal says, awake. This function is always called before any start function and also just after a prefab is instantiated. Thank you for looking up this documentation, Immortal Kid. I appreciate it. If a game object is inactive during startup, awake is not called until it is made active. Okay. On enable only called if the object is active. This function is called just after the object is enabled. This happens when a mono behavior instance is created, such as when a level is loaded or a game object. Good to know. And Immortal then says that this documentation is bad. 1 sec, I'll get the full doc. But essentially it's awake, on enable, then start. J-ish. I think it's J-ish. You're not J, you're just kind of like J. You're J-ish. Sorry if I'm making fun of the name, I apologize. J, welcome aboard, my friend. Let me know if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly or not. I'd love to know. But happy Wednesday, my friend. Welcome aboard. Welcome to Captain Coders Academy. As you may or may not be aware, I am a computer science teacher. I love answering any computer science programming related questions you might have. I can't promise I'll always have the answer, but I'll do my best. And I also, fun fact, I enjoy backseat coding. So try, if you see something, if you want to contribute somehow, please let me know. I'm always happy to entertain a backseat coding suggestion. It's how I get better. It's very, very, in my mind, it's really, really important for people to question what you're doing as a programmer. That's how you learn and grow and get better. Unicoder says, I'll post a link in Discord. Someone made a cheat sheet, comprehensive guide to execution order and unity of interest. I love this, Unicoder. Yes, thank you so much. Awake, on enable, and then start. So good to know. Good to know. But the other thing is on enable is actually called every time you're enabled or disabled. So we're gonna make this be enabled, disabled like that. Let's see if our movements, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. We should start out placing noise if I press forward. Invalid operation, cannot read value of vector into. Moon is, you are correct. Moon is, you are correct. We cannot do a vector to int here. We'll do a vector 2. I'm gonna write a ceiling function. Really, I should write a ceiling function. Okay. All right, everybody. One of my favorite things, Jayish. Thank you so much for letting me know I'm pronouncing it correctly. We are gonna do one of my favorite things in C# is we have, if you're not familiar with these are our extension methods. We're gonna write an extension method, everybody. So I'm gonna add in a Captain Coder folder here. Oh, no. This will be my utils folder. We're gonna, oh, I already have a util folder. Go away, you, I don't need you. Extension methods, my favorite. One of my favorite things. We're gonna create a thing called here. So what I would like to do, so all right, so let's explain what's happening here. Andres asks, which version of C# are you using? It's roughly C# 8. It's not quite fully C# 8, so this is the version that Unity provides. So it's roughly C# 8. I would like to have be able to do the following, do a ceiling function on this where it takes my vector 2 and it rounds it to a positive or negative value. Really, I want it to go to 1, so maybe I should make it dot sign. I don't know, but essentially I want to be able to take this vector 2 and translate it so that my method here can turn it into integers. So this is a float, but I want it to be integers. So I'm gonna write what's called an extension method. And we're gonna talk our way through that. All right, so I'm gonna create a file here, and this is gonna be called our vector extensions. All right, and I'm gonna create a namespace for this. I like mine to be in captain coder dot extensions. Maybe an extensions is a bad one. Captain coder dot unity engine. That's what I'll do it. Captain coder dot unity engine, because it's extending things that are part of the Unity engine. Okay. And then I'm going to create a public static class called vector extensions. And my method is going to look like this. So I'm static, so I have to have static vector to int. I got to use one moment using Unity engine. All right. Let that build for a minute. Let it simmer. Let it simmer just a little bit. Oh, it didn't simmer. Hang on. Hang on, it doesn't like this. It's okay. I think I can keep going here. Vector to int. So I want to take a vector and turn it into an int, but I'm going to want to round it up. So I'm going to write a static function called ceil. Stands for ceiling. We're taking a vector 2. We're going to take a vector 2 to ceil. And what it's going to do is it's going to basically apply the ceiling function to each one of these. So this becomes a new vector to int, but it's to ceil.x with the mathf.ceil to int applied to each of the arguments. Okay. Bear with me, I apologize. It's a little bit bad here. Ceil to int, I don't know where this 5 came from. Like so. Pretty long line here. I apologize for the length of it. But the idea is I have a function here that takes in a vector 2 and it ceilings both of the x and y coordinates on it. I hope that makes sense. So I have this function here, and I could just call it here like this. I could say vector, if I import my namespace. Sorry, let's get my namespace in here. All right, so we're gonna say using captain coder dot Unity engine. So this is where my extensions are coming from. Okay, and so now I have my extension. I can say vector extensions dot ceil like this. So I can take a vector 2 and I can now sealing it to an int. Shady asks, this forward arrow is shorthand. Yeah, so it's sort of a shorthand for the following. If it's sort of like using, if you're familiar with lambda syntax. All right, so if I had a one line like this, I can leave it like this. It's essentially identical to that. It's saying that this thing, I forget the exact name of it, but this is what it is, the recommended way to do it. All right, so if you put the this keyword here, check this out. If I put the this keyword here, it creates what's called an extension method. And now instead of having to refer to it this way, I can say dot ceil like this. So it's like adding a method to that class. Disc Ketchup said, should show the description comment on the function so it shows up in IntelliSense. Oh, you're suggesting I add in a summary comment here? Applies the ceiling function to each of the vector 2 coordinates. So we could do this. Yeah. Yeah. Moonlight 2323 or Moon 2323 Light. I'm just calling you Moonlight. I hope that's okay. Let me know if that's not okay, and I'll try and work around. But hi guys, how are you? Moonlight says, I'm doing beautiful. I'm feeling great. Hope you're feeling great. Yeah, Captain's feeling great. Feeling so great, feeling so great. How are you, Moon? How are you, Moonlight? But yes, so we have that in there. So if I hover over it, I'll get that it says it's an extension method and it applies this in this way. So the Disc Ketchup says, now it feels official. Now it feels official, yeah. But this is what our extension method does. It's one of my favorite features of C#. Is being able to add these extension methods in. You gotta be a little bit careful with it though, because now someone who sees this code might go like, wait, there's a ceiling method on the vector 2s? I didn't know that. And in fact, there's not, it's an extension method. So there's a little bit of a readability, potential readability issue there, or confusion. But we're gonna do a seal here to get this to convert like that. Let's see if this solves our problems. I'm missing a semicolon somewhere. What? This file, all right, I must have done something weird to that file. Let's regenerate our inputs here. Can I force this to regenerate? Is there a regenerate button? Apollo, hello, my friend. Apollo asked, what are you working on? Can I force this to regenerate? Object does not exist. Did I accidentally edited. What is going on? This is blowing my mind. I will be happy to answer your question in just a moment, Apollo. I'm being boozled right here. I'm being boozled, but I'll be happy to answer your question once I deboozle myself in a moment. Object does not exist in the namespace. Captain Coder. I don't understand why this is an error. I'm so confused right now. I'm not overloading the Unity engine. Captain Coder.Unity engine. All right. It thinks that Unity engine. Yeah. No. There is like a weird namespace conflict. We're gonna change it to extensions. All right. We're just gonna change it to extensions. Yeah, I gotta deboozle myself. Don't call Webster. Webster already knows. Webster and I go way back. Disc Ketchup. Webster and I go way back. We wrote that book together. All right. Function deboozle echo get coffee. All right. So apparently I couldn't do Unity engine here. I could, and then but it really messed with. This is a generated file, so I don't want to have to edit this thing. That kind of blew my mind a little bit. All right, everybody, we are back. Apollo asks, "What are you working on? What are you working on?" We are making a toolkit. Look, we can move. We can strafe. Woo! Oh, that strafe, it looks weird. We're gonna have to be interesting with the camera. We can move back and forth. All right, so our movement for north works. Look at that wiggle. Look at that camera wiggle. We can move through walls too. Okay, so our movement kind of works. We don't have rotations in yet. But what are we working on? Apollo asks. What are we working on? I am trying to make the long-term goals. The long-term goals is to make a procedurally generated dungeon generator. All right, so this project is just a dungeon generator. We're not making a game. We're making a component, a tool to help us make a game. In April, I'm planning to do the Dungeon Crawler Jam 2023. And this is to create a grid-based dungeon crawler with 90-degree turns, classic dungeon crawler type game. And so I'm playing around with how can I do procedurally generated dungeons. And so here's what we have so far. Today I'm working on getting movement controls in just so we can like walk around in our dungeon. I have this, yesterday we built this grid editor, and the grid editor, it's gonna need some work, but it allows us to specify a grid cell database. So grid cell database says, how should I interpret these characters? I wanna be able to make two-dimensional maps using ASCII or a text file somehow, or define it this way to make it really easy. So I can come through, I can build out my rooms like this. Maybe I have a corridor that comes down like this. Oh, I don't have anything for, right now spaces are gonna get interpreted weird, so I can't put spaces in there actually. But I might be able to do something like this, where I open up into a corridor that looks like this. And then I click add to scene, boop, it generates that into my scene. So that's what we have so far as the dungeon generator goes. Next, today we're working on movement, but the idea is I'm gonna be able to build up a set of rooms like this. I'll be able to build up a set of rooms like this and then have them generated. I'm planning to use what's called a Markov chain. Let's do this like that. Look, even fancier, boom, like that. We got a little room there. Use what's called a Markov chain generation, which is gonna be able to have these nodes. I'm gonna add nodes to the end here. So I might put a plus here that says generate something off the side. So whenever I see a plus, I'm gonna say there's gonna be something else to generate there. And then it's gonna pull out it in a database. It's gonna say, okay, well, here's my corridor, my list of corridors that I might generate off this. And then it might say, okay, well, I might generate a room, but I also might just generate a wall. And as you generate further out, the Markov chain is going to say, okay, our probabilities get smaller and smaller, and or the probability of generating an end sequence, which would be like a wall or a corridor that dead ends, gets greater and greater. But yeah, it's like generating random patterns, but they're not going to be a uniformly at random. Right? So we're not going to generate just like a random room with a bunch of random squares. It's like, okay, well, we'll have a room that has this type of shape. And so the idea, we'll have like 40 different room types to generate, and it's going to pick those. Moonray Murray, yes, there will be weights on them, right? So you might have a rare room that only shows up sometimes and in specific conditions. And corridors might split up into T's, or, you know, you might have crossroads, that type of thing. But the goal for this project, the project that we started this on Monday, the goal of this project is to have a dungeon generator, and then, so you'll be able to generate a dungeon and then manually go in and edit it. So it gives you a place to start. Be like, okay, I want to generate a dungeon. All right, now I can edit this thing out. Right now our walls are a bit too thick. But what are we doing today? Today we're working on the movement controls. So we're adding inputs. We got 4 directional movement. We're about to add in 90-degree turning, and then hopefully add in a free look camera where I can like right click and move my camera around. Have some hefty goals today. I don't know if I'm gonna meet them all. I only got an hour left. But yeah, right now we have, is this in position? Let's move this a little bit. -2. Oh, no, -2. So we just added in basic movement controls. Yeah, so we have forward, back, strafing left, strafing right, and now we got to add in rotation to it, which shouldn't be that hard, but I'm not 100% sure how our cameras, I think I'm gonna have 4 different cameras. I think I'm gonna have 4 different cameras, and depending on which direction you're facing, it's gonna use that camera. That's gonna be the lazy way to do it. Alternatively, I can make the camera change position, but I think I'm gonna be, I think I'm gonna be lazy about it. I think I'm gonna be, it's either gonna be lazy or way more work than it needs to be. It's gonna be one of those two things. Rotate. All right, so this is gonna be a callback context like this, and this is getting Just Ketchup says, in programming, we call that efficiency. Yeah, I often tell people, I was like, as a programmer, we want to be lazy. But in reality, what I really mean, then I also go, like, no. Programmers aren't lazy. We like to be efficient. We like to be efficient. All right, so when we enable here, we do controls. Exact, Moon is correct. We're not adding in cameras, we're adding in virtual cameras. Thank you for pointing that out, Mooniz. We are adding in virtual cameras. So it's not an actual rendered camera. It's just selecting which one of the virtual cameras. And the virtual camera is quote unquote smart, which it knows how to position our camera for us. Apollo, you said you can take the variable length sides with condition and generate random values to create random patterns. Essentially, I think that's what we're doing. I think you're describing it. I could be wrong though. Yeah, but welcome aboard, everybody. So happy to have you all here. Rotate. We have, let me look at our controls real quick. They're sort of positive and negative. Mooner says, if I don't like a hack, I code it. I will spend days if I have to till I find a more elegant solution. Yeah, refactoring is nice. Can be nice. It can also be horrible. The issue is that, not the issue, but one of the challenges. All right, so we have our rotate. Here, Q. All right, so Q is our negative, and E is our positive. So Q would be negative, E would be positive. All right, so if we're positive here, all right, so we're gonna say context dot read value. Is this a float? I think it's a float because it's an axis. And math f dot sign. So that's going to turn it into a positive or negative 1, I believe. Let me do sign int, sign, and then I have to int it. Int input equals. Let's do a debug.log just so I can make sure that this makes sense to me. Bear with me. If you're a bear, you're with me. Are you a bear? Only you can prevent coding fires. QE, I did not register it, I guess. Thought I did. Rotate started. We want to do minus on our rotate. Interesting if true. The axis wasn't getting registered. I'm pressing Q, I'm pressing E, and nothing is responding. There it goes. Q, -1, E, +1. Q, E, Q, E. This asks, is this a single mesh being generated or a series of cubes? It's a series of cubes right now. I've thought about, it would be nice, it probably makes sense to make it a single mesh. Find contiguous connections and make it a single mesh. We haven't done that yet though. These are just cubes and they're pulled out of prefabs. So we have a floor cell and a wall cell, but we could do a major optimization where we go through and we build it as a single mesh where we say, okay, well, here is the shape. We're gonna find contiguous walls and connect them together, and contiguous floors as well. So each one of these tiles is actually its own little collider and stuff, which is not great. That said, they don't actually need colliders either, because this game is not using any sort of physics stuff. So there's a lot of optimization we could do. Mooney says a single mesh is overkill. It makes textures more annoying. Interesting. Since we're not doing collision detection, you're probably right. It doesn't matter. I do find that if I'm using individual meshes that are supposed to be together, individual meshes that are supposed to be touching, you end up with like a little lip on them, no matter what you do. I've never been able to solve it, but we're not doing any sort of physics stuff, so it doesn't matter. Apollo says making several mesh to generate different series would be cool. I think it would be cool. So if you had it together, and I think it would be really cool to be like, oh, we can combine these things together. But you're probably right, it's overkill. The one reason I'd like to do it with the walls is for the following reason. Getting this to tile really nice was kind of painful. And if we were to change the texture, you end up with like hiccups in the wall, right? So if it was one mesh, I think it would know how to like tile it better, I think. This Ketchup says cubes aren't so heavy even at 1,000. Yeah, so like I don't think there's a reason to optimize it. I just think it would be a fun exercise to see if I could do it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so we're gonna rotate here. All right, so we're gonna say if we need rotate left and right. So we're gonna say facing is gonna be equal to, and then I'm just gonna write a thing like, oh, perfect opportunity for an extension method. So here's the thing, all right, here's a perfect opportunity for an extension method. I have an enumerated type. I cannot add methods to an enumerated type, but I would like to be able to do the following, like north facing dot north dot rotate. I'd like to be able to rotate and then have a rotate counterclockwise, like rotate clockwise, rotate counterclockwise. I'd like to be able to do this. I wouldn't clock. This is not 2 words. And I'd like to be able to do this with my facing, and so I can actually write an extension method to do this. Muna says if you would have collision issues, it would be okay to create a single mesh and add a mesh collider to it. That way you wouldn't have problems with textures in UV mesh. Yeah, so Muna, that's sort of, remember in the, you probably remember this, but in the SkyDriver, everyone real quick. SkyDriver, go check it out. The SkyDriver. In SkyDriver, we did that. In this game here, we were having issues with collision between our tiles. Moon Pepperidge Farm remembers. All right, so in this game, these are set up as like long strips. These get generated as long strips with holes cut in them. And when you'd move left and right, sometimes you'd like hit a lip and you'd bounce. And so what's happening here is actually like there's one big square collider that covers this whole thing that turns off when you hit a hole. So it's actually, you can't, you know, when you detect that there's no platform beneath you, you don't actually, your ship collider turns off, I think is what happens. But yeah, we ran into an issue there. But yeah, Pepperidge Farm remembers. Pepperidge Farm remembers everything. Pepperidge Farm is watching you. Which brings us to today's sponsor. Today's sponsor. This stream is brought to you by Pepperidge Farm. No, I kid. Today's stream is brought to you by the letter M, though. M is for Mooniz. Mooniz is a wonderful, beautiful streamer. You gotta go check him out. Mooniz, wrong one, hang on. Mooniz has taught me everything I know. Everything I know. I didn't know anything before I met Mooniz. I was sitting around in the corner in a stupor. As people know, I am a simpleton. A simpleton. That means I'm a ton of simple. Mooniz has taught me everything I know. And so watching his stream, watching a real game developer is the way to learn. All right, so if you want to learn real game development, if you want to watch a real game developer develop, go check out Mooniz's stream. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, good stuff. Mooniz says, since facing is an enum, they are in a good order, are you going to cast them to ints and add/remove one and convert them back to enums? No, Mooniz, I was going to be lazy. That might be what I do, but I think that is actually more confusing than what I'm going to do. But good question. And Monok said, Mooniz fills the void brackies left in my heart. Oh, yes. Mooniz fills the brackies void. Public static facing class facing extensions. All right. Rave says, I'm pulling hairs with this shader and I'm crying. I'm working on cry. Don't cry, my friend. Don't cry, dry your eye. Mooney says, there's no way I can fill the void brackies is left Can anyone fill that void? Can anyone fill the brachys void? You know, you can fill the cracks of the heart, but there's still cracks in your heart, and they're just filled with peanut butter. You know. All right, rotate. So we're gonna have a rotate here. So here's what I'm gonna do, Moon is I'm not gonna use. I could do this. All right, so I could do this. This would be. Maybe I'll do it. This would be like the quote unquote clever way to do it. So all of these are actually integers. So if we hover over them, X says north is 0, east is 1, south is 2, west is 3. I could do this. So rotate could just say, take my facing, cast it to an int, add 1, mod it by 4. Sorry, this should not be called facing. This should be called facing. And then cast it back. Maybe I will do this. This isn't that confusing. All right, so I could do this. I could do this. This makes it go north, east, south, west. So north plus 1 is east. East plus 1 is south. South plus 1 is west. West plus 1 is too big, but we wrap it around back to north using our modulus here. And maybe we'll do that. That seems okay, actually. Discount says, Bonjour, Captain. What are your thoughts on markdown notes taking like obsidian? I'm not sure about obsidian, but I'm a big fan of markdown in general. I'm not sure what obsidian is. I'm not sure what obsidian is. This might actually be okay, Muniz. You want to know what's even cheekier? For rotate counter clockwise. You know what a counterclockwise rotate is? Just rotate. Did you know that counterclockwise just rotate, 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 rotate? You just rotate 3 times. Perfect. And then I don't have to deal with doing the -1 and like unminusing it. What do people think about this? Isn't this beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? We're gonna leave this in here. It's still O of 1. It's still O of 1. It's just, it takes 3 times as long as that one. No. What would be the smart thing to do here? What do people think the smart thing to do is? What do we think? What's the smart thing? Rather than calling rotate 3 times. Any suggestions on what we can do? I know what I'm gonna do. I know how I'm gonna optimize this. And Immortal says make a method take that does -1. All right, so -1. Let's look at what it would do. We could do that. So one thing though with -1, if you did -1 here, your mod 4, you can end up with negative values. You can end up with negative values if you do the -1. Why didn't it like that? What's going on? Hang on. All right, so we could do -1. Hang on, is this a fake error? Expected a curly brace. What? Oh, I see. There it is. I don't know how I deleted so many curly braces. -1, you can't do an absolute value on it because it'll still be like broken and weird. If you really wanted to do it this way, you'd have to do, you do mod 4, and then you do +4, and then you do mod 4 again. This is how you would force it to do like traditional positive mod 4. All right, so you do mod 4 first, and then you'll get a -1. You add 4 to that, and then you do mod 4 again, and it'll get you to the right spot. We're not gonna do that though. We could do a switch statement. Yeah, we could do a switch statement, but we're not gonna do it. Anyone think? All right, so recall that rotating counterclockwise. Moon is ding, ding, ding. You got it. Moon is, remember that rotating clockwise 3 times is the same as rotating counterclockwise once. So we can actually do the following. We can say +3. If you rotate All right, so we're gonna do +3 since we're gonna use this trick with mod 4 anyway. We're just gonna do +3. Exactly, Moonniz. Exactly. Very nice, Moonniz. Very nice, Moonniz. 50 points to you, and an Immortal Kid for trying. For trying, you get 50 points as well for participating in today's class. And participating in today's class and making an attempt and putting yourself out there. Yeah, we can do +3 here to go counterclockwise. Got it. And just like college, got it wrong, got credit anyways. Do you remember in Immortal Kid, we took our Algorithms 2 class? I think you were in Algorithms 2 with me, and the professor the very first day says, no one fails this class. So I know this class is really hard, so I don't fail anyone. Do you remember that? That made me so upset. Because I was like, it's okay if you don't fail anyone. It's okay if you don't fail anyone, but don't tell the whole class on day one that you don't fail anyone. No one's going to take it seriously at that point. Yes, the magic function where we have to convert. We got to convert. That was good times. Good times. All right, so we're going to take our input here. And our facing is going to be equal to, all right, so if our input is 1, that means we're going clockwise. Then we're going to do facing dot rotate. Otherwise, we're going to do facing dot rotate rotate counterclockwise. All right. Should I rename rotate? Does rotate? Let me add a. All right, we're going to make rotate clockwise. Just to be super clear, clockwise, counterclockwise. Yeah, that's the ticket. Let's just test it, make sure that this works. The camera's not set up to rotate just yet, but we're gonna test it out. We shall see. I just wanna watch my player. We should watch their facing change though. East, north goes to east, north goes to west, south, and we loop around. Look at us go. Look at us go. All right, so now we're gonna add in a camera. We're gonna add in 4 virtual cameras. We're gonna have 4 virtual cameras. All right, so this is gonna be our north cam. North cam. All right, we're gonna put in a parent object that's gonna be called our V cams. We're gonna duplicate this. This is gonna be our east cam, south cam, and our west cam. Right, so my idea here is we are going to somehow change the offset, right? So we have a -10. This might be too far back. We want to do -5. I'm not sure. But the idea is our offset changes based on which direction we're looking. Let me get in up here just so I can see what each position does. So north is that way. All right, north is that way. East, I think we want to have our X go this way. Yes, our X will be -10. 0, well that, and if we disable that, what? +10? 0? East cam, where are you? Oh, our position's like here. Okay, so yeah, this should be 5. Or maybe even like 2.5, something like that. So we're just too far back. All right, so -5. Hang on, Y, -5. North cam, east. South cam. What's happening? Player, where are you? Let's put you at 0, 0 so our brains can make sense of this. North cam, -. As soon as I touch this thing, it goes crazy. 5. -5. Wouldn't it be better to set position 0, 0, 0 and follow offset as well? Can I set the position of this? If I set the position, I can't set this position. Oh, and child the cameras to the player. Mooniz, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And I don't need to look at or follow. None. None. And then these need to be do nothings, I believe. All right, then our north cam. We still need to set our eye level, which will be fine. That won't be that hard to do. All right, so -5. Why am I not showing up there? You need to, oh, yeah. So we're right in the center. You're correct. These all need to be right in the center. And we'll start these at 2.5. Yeah, we'll all be in the center, and then we actually just change our rotation based on our facing. That's genius. All right, east, so north, east, this should be +90. This should be 180, and this one should be 270. Yeah, that's genius. All right. 0. Apparently, why is that starting up high? Oh, it's because our player's at 2.5. All right, but okay. So yeah. So this will be 0, 0, and then our player's height will actually specify where the camera goes. Beautiful. Yeah. Moon is beautiful, my friend. Thank you so much for. I was gonna make this super hard. All right. So the idea then is we're gonna actually enable and disable whichever camera we happen to be using. All right, so if we wanna go to our east cam, it'll do that. If we wanna go to our south cam, it'll do that. If we wanna go to our west cam, we do that. Alternatively, we can update the priorities, but when I was reading through the documentation, they actually recommend using disable and enable unless you're doing some cinematic stuff. Right. So we'll start with the north cam enabled, like this. And we are gonna add in, I think I'm gonna add in a script. Just like our player camera. So create a C# script. It's gonna be our Daniel. Hello, my friend. Welcome. Player camera controller. What's the benefit over rotating one camera? So I'm using, I don't know that there's a huge benefit to it. The main benefit I'm getting, Disc Ketchup asking is, Disc Ketchup's asked, what's the benefit of overusing, just rotating one camera? The main benefit is I'm getting access to my Cinemachine brain. And it handles the transitions for me. So I don't have to think about how does my camera rotate. Instead, in my camera, I say like, oh, well, I want my camera's rotation to take, 0.5 seconds. It's very easy for me to do this. Here, I don't have to do the programming for that. So by enabling and disabling cameras, or using the Cinemachine brain, it will automatically handle those transitions for us. That's the quote unquote benefit. But Daniel, welcome aboard, my friend. How are you? How are you today on this beautiful Wednesday? Everyone, I got it right that time. This beautiful Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Daniel. Disc Ketchup, did I answer your question? I hope I did. Okay, so we're gonna add into our Everybody needs somebody to tell them they are wrong, that the day is not today. Everybody's picking on the captain, 'cause the captain loses track of what day it is. You know, if I didn't stream every day, maybe if I didn't stream every day, the days would line up a little bit better for me. It all bleeds together. It all bleeds together. Daniel says, I'm doing okay. Went bowling with my program club today and now setting up stream. Nice. I love bowling. Did you know that the captain coder, I haven't been on a bowling league in a while, but I was on a bowling league for many, many years. I love bowling. It's the one sport. Yeah, what a rush. Bowling's that game gives you a rush. All right, so this is going to have, using Cinemachine on it, Captain Coder's Bowling Academy. I guess I don't need a Cinemachine on this. This is gonna be our direction player facing listener, maybe. All right, we're gonna go with player facing listener, and this is gonna be. This feels weird. Maybe. All right, so this is gonna be player camera facing listener. This thing is going to keep track of turning these cameras on and off for us. All right, so we have a public facing direction. So this is, you know, on direction. So this is the direction that we're going to be turned on with. So if it's just due north by default. This is going to be serialized. Private on direction. Okay. And really this whole thing exists specifically so I can have this listener public void handle chain handle facing, right? Facing F. The whole reason I'm doing this, maybe this is oddly overkill, is going to be game object dot set active F is equal to on direction. That is what we're doing here. Is the whole purpose of this thing is so I can in the inspector set these things and add them as listeners to our player camera controller. Sorry, our player object. So the whole purpose of this, I'm gonna add these to my cameras here. All right, and this is my player camera controller. This one's for the north camera. This one's for my east camera. This one is for my south camera. And then one more. This is player. It's for my west camera. So the whole purpose of doing this is that this thing has an event listener. Doesn't it have an event? Did I add an event to you? Did I give you an event? I did, but I did not serialize you properly. This here needed a field because it's a property and I want to get the backing field. So, real quick everybody, not so pro tip from the captain himself. We got the serialized field. Notice this one has a field colon serialized field. A lot of people like to ask me, "Hey, Captain, why do you do the field colon serialized field?" And the answer is, this one happens to be an auto property. And so it's not an actual field. It's not an actual field. So we have to tell it, take the auto property field. That's the field that's underneath, hiding behind this property. And so you need the field colon there. Surprisingly enough though, if you put this on something that's not a property, it also works. So when in doubt, use field colon serialized field. This has been your not so pro tip of the day. All right, everybody. Moon is asked, "Hey, Captain, why are you talking about being out on a field when you live in the desert?" Look, the desert, the field, there are fields in the desert. There are fields in the desert, I promise you. All right, so this thing, oh, we didn't actually listen. Hold on. What we can do now is we have this listener here. Maybe I hate this a little bit, but we put our camera here and this becomes that we handle our facing. So if we add our cameras here, which I kind of hate this, by the way. I want this to just go find these for me. This feels like really easy to mess up by not having them. Maybe I'll put them in here once and then we'll be happy. But now I can say, hey, handle the facing here. I have this, anytime my facing changes, the on change faces. All right, so hopefully, hang on, hold tight. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Nope. Nothing. Nothing. Did not work. Did not work. I know why though. Mooney says, get components in children camera controller awake and you're done. Hang on. I'm a little surprised this doesn't work. I don't even care about the camera is the thing. The game object should be turning itself on. 1 second. Something. Oh, I know why. I know why. In my position controller, I'm setting facing directly. I'm not. I need to use. All right, everybody. So here's the deal. We have this field here called facing, and this one's not an auto property. This one's an actual property that we're using here. And so this one here, we've explicitly set the facing property. And the reason we've done this is when you set this, it not only sets the backing value, but it notifies anyone listening to our on-change facing listener. All right. And unfortunately, if you're a simpleton like me, you got to make sure you use that property instead of the backing field so that it calls that on change. So here we go though. Let's give it a shot. All right, everybody. I don't know. I apologize. I apologize for becoming this this person. I'm so sorry you have to be here. Story girl in the house. She's here to see us rotate. Story girl watching us rotate around. Now my cameras, now our cameras jump directly to our player's position. Mooniz, you foiled me. You foiled me. We move immediately to our spot now because our camera is no longer following our player. I was doing it for a reason. Story girl though, welcome aboard. Welcome back to Captain Coder's Academy. We are... don't worry, Story Girl says, sorry, I haven't been here much. Back has been bad and had a lot of daytime commitments. No worry, Story Girl, no worry. There's no pressure for you to be here. I'm sorry if you felt any pressure. You have nothing to apologize for, my friend. But welcome back, welcome aboard. So nice to see you. Yeah, so now our movement's instant, and I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that. I want my camera to follow the player to that spot. I trusted you, Mooniz. I trusted you, but now we got that fast rotate. Boom. And the cool thing is if you rotate really fast, maybe I should do some input queuing. Oh, I like the slidey, but the OG behavior would be 0. Like here too. It's too much. It's too much. I like the slippity slide. I like to slippy slide. That's pretty sweet movement though. No, Mooniz, you're fine. I'm totally joking. I'm totally joking. It was just odd suddenly when my camera jumped to that position. Yeah, Story Girl, I'm so happy you're here. I'm sorry to hear you're having back pains. That sounds very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. But yeah, I understand. There's no pressure to be here. I hope you know that. I hope everyone knows that. The captain loves you no matter what. If you disappear for a couple weeks, I'll miss you. I'll miss you, but there, don't ever feel any pressure to be here. All right. Daniel says, so making OG Shin Megami Tensei style dungeon crawling. Exactly. Now I just have Persona music playing in my mind when you moving around. Sweet. Sweet. But yeah, if anyone's just so everyone knows. Story Girl is a fantastic streamer. Attention chat. Attention all lurkers. Please direct your attention to the chat at this time. Go ahead and click that love button. Give Story Girl some love. Let her know how much we appreciate her, that we appreciate her stream. We love having her around. So everyone, please give Story Girl some love. Go check her out. She does some game dev stuff. She also does some music stuff. It's awesome. A fabulous stream. I have missed seeing you on stream. But yeah, go check her out. All right, everybody, let's get back to it. I just want to clear this out. So this is a throw new system.operation invalid operation exception. This one here says invalid basing detected. Basing. This essentially should never happen. But there was a warning there and I just want to get it to go away. All right, so we have our movement. We have our camera rotations. Let's take a look. What do we got left? Oh, I put way too much on this first item. I put way too much. All right, so... All right. What's happening? Am I back? Am I back? Did I bring it back? Sha la 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 la. Is the captain currently streaming? Let me know when you can hear me sing. Can you hear me singing this song? Can you hear me singing? Captain Coder singing music. Can you hear him sing this silly song? Excellent. We're back. I have no idea what happened. I dropped an awful lot of frames there. I checked my internet speed. I don't know what happened. I don't even know. Maybe on YouTube we lost it too. I don't know. I don't know. The world may never know. The world may never know, but we're back. We back. All right, we simplified. This is what my original tasks were. I promise. I promise. All right, so we finished directional grid movement. We finished 90-degree turning, and for being here to witness this momentous occasion, all of you are going to get 50 points. 50 points. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here to witness this momentous occasion. Let's see if we can add in free look that snaps back. I don't even know if I want this, but I do. So we're going to do it. We're going to add in our mouse controls here with free look. All right. Free looking camera controls. I don't know if we're going to be able to finish today. I hope so. I am hoping we'll be able to finish it. The issue is I have to make these free look cameras instead of generic cameras, which should be okay. Should be okay, right? All right, we're gonna go to our inputs, and we're gonna add in a camera to our inputs, and this one is gonna be our camera or move, enable move. That's what I'm gonna call this one. And so this one's gonna be our right click button. So on the mouse, can I listen for right button? Yeah, on our mouse, if we hold the right button, it enables our move. That's gonna allow us to move the camera around. And then we're gonna add in another, this is on our keyboard and mouse. And we're gonna add another one, which is an axis. This is gonna be a vector 2. This is gonna be our analog, our right analog stick. Camera rotate. We'll just call it rotate. Or pan. Is that what it's called? Pan? What is it called when you rotate a camera? Is that called panning? Pan? Or I could just call it move. All right, but this one is going to be, I believe, a value, and it's a vector 2. And the specific panning is 2D movement, not rotation. All right, so what should I call it? Mr. Mooniz, you're a wordologist. Quick, tell me. We're gonna add a, want it to be just the free look. I like free look. Everybody, we're free looking. All right, and this is part of our gamepad controls. So the mouse look is you right click, it allows you to move around. When you let go, it's gonna move the camera back to center. The idea is we can look around, but when you're not looking around, so for example, if I let go of that, the right analog, it's gonna move us back to center and say that's the direction we're going. But you can like pan around and look with the camera. Not pan around. You can rotate the camera about to see your surrounding area. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and save that. Mouse look is what it was called in Quake, and you had to write that in the console to enable it. Fascinating. Daniel says, specifically, the song that is now in my mind is School Days from Persona 1. Interesting, cool. I hope it's not driving you insane. I hope you're enjoying that. Sometimes those earworms will get you. They done get you good. All right, we're gonna do a commit here on this before we get going much further though. So this one is a feat implement basic movement slash rotation. Nah, the song's catchy, Daniel. It's good. Excellent. Yeah, Moon is sometimes you have a song stuck in your head and you don't even know the name of the song, right? That's when it's the worst. You might, but yes, that is a good tip. Moon is pro tip of the day. If you get a song stuck in your head, listen to the end of it and it will disappear. That I think that's a good strategy. Doesn't always work, but in the past I've had it work. All right, so we're gonna create a folder here. Create folder. This is gonna be our camera folder. All right, and in our inputs we have our controls, and we're gonna add in another one of these boys. All right, I guess this should just be enable and disable like this. And this one is gonna be camera. These are inputs like camera actions. All right, and then this one's gonna be camera. So we get our camera actions there. We might need to add in some extra enable disabled for this. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not too worried. I am not too worried. All right, so then in our camera here, we're gonna add in a new camera gamepad controller. All right, so this is gonna be our gamepad controls. And namespace captain coder dot. Really, I should just still this. I've done this before in my here's what we're gonna do. This should really be part of a utility class, because in the Marble game, all the source code for the Marble game's available on GitHub. By the way, everybody, if you want to go steal it, if you want to use it, it's open source. I'm gonna open source it. My camera controls, really, this should be part of a package for gamepad, for what I'm doing. I'm imagining I'll be reusing this frequently. But I'm gonna just steal it for now, like this. It's not, so here's the thing, it's not actually identical to it. There's going to be a lot of issues. It's just the one part that is identical is the handling camera rotation, start, stop. I don't know if this is actually worth, because I'm going to change enough of it. Actually, I'm changing quite a bit of this, so I don't know that it makes sense at all now that I'm looking at it. We do want, all right, let's have everything get crazy here for a moment. Camera zoom, because we're not going to have zoom in this one. Let's see what we can get away with here. We're going to have it attached to a Cinemachine free look camera though. There's no zoom on this camera. Rotation, tilt, speed, no zooming. We'll deal with invert axis later. There's similarities, so the idea is like, well, let me use it again in this project and see, okay, well, is there actually a chunk that I could abstract that would be useful in multiple places? Yeah, so this is telling me I kind of need to separate each of these into different chunks, right? It's all similar, but like the free look. So essentially what this is telling me is that I could have a package here called free look camera and then have gamepad controls that are specifically for this. But yeah, it's turning is moving on, is moving off, those sort of things. But this should if I take this, handle cam. Okay, so now when I enable, all right, so this one is going to be Ghost Sphere Games. Thank you for the follow, my friend. Happy Wednesday to you. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the crew. Welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. You may or may not be aware that I am a computer science teacher. I teach programming, mostly at my school's ages 10 to 14, but I'm happy, I often teach individual lessons and group lessons to people of any age, but welcome aboard. Do not hesitate to ask a question if you have one. I'm going to do on enabled here. And do not hesitate to backseat code. I enjoy the backseat codage. That doesn't mean I'm going to accept your suggestions, but I will consider them. I always consider them. That's how I grow. That's how I learn. All right, so we're gonna do controls. It's not in the right namespace yet. So no longer in Crazy Marvel. This is gonna be Captain Coder dot Dungeoneering. So it might make sense to make some kind of interface or base class that implements this, and you subclass it and you specify these things. So for example, the on enabled, on disabled, you basically just need to tell, okay, where's the input coming from? What is your control that it's coming from? Alternatively, I could have like a generic Captain Coder, like camera controls, input controls that I transfer between spots too. For like mouse, and that's probably what I should do. I'm gonna think about that. That's an idea. Controls dot Ghost for Games. I would likely have more questions than suggestions pretty early in my C# Unity learning journey. Good. Well, not good, but awesome. I think it's awesome that you're learning, you're growing. You're in the right place, my friend. We are all learning. We're all growing. I've only been using C# for about 2 years, really 18-ish months, about 2 years, and I've only seriously been using Unity for about 2 months. So I'm very new to Unity. I've hacked together in Unity quite a bit, but I have a lot of programming background. I'm a computer science teacher, like I said, so I have a lot of programming background. Controls.cameraactions. This is our free look. Performed. This is going to go to our handle camera rotation. Our controls. But yeah, do not hesitate to ask any questions you might have, or be like, well, why are you doing it that way? Or maybe you have some project that you're working on and you have a question about it. Don't hesitate to ask. Stop camera rotation. Okay. And then we'll, on disable, we're gonna invert these. Reverse. On enable, on disable. Okay, so we got wave, we got on enable, we got on disable, gamepad controls, camera gamepad controls. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, these are not free. I think I need to make new cameras, new virtual cameras. These are gonna be free looking cameras, right? All right, so we're gonna get rid of these. We're gonna make, this is why this was, I was like, this is a bad idea here. In fact, I want a thing that sort of like goes and finds all my internal cameras. Or, oh, you know what's even better? Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. All right, but we're gonna add in a free look camera here. The free look camera did not, all right. So, orbital transponder requires a follow target. Follow none. All right, hang on. Is free look really what I want? Do nothing. Interesting here. So I want to be able to rotate it, but I actually don't want. Just change MO poke, just change a follow player with no offset, and you Gucci. Do I not want free look camera? Emma says, just change the yaw. Follow player with no offset and Yuguchi. Muniz says. Oh, gotcha. You make sense. That makes sense. It took my brain couldn't handle that. I understand. I wanted to actually create some empties in here. This is my north cam, free look camera. Yes, gotcha. My brain was hurting. My offset. Can I set the offset on these? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. None. Orbital transposer requires a follow target. Can I make this? Do I have to have a look at here? This is a little bit, my brain can't handle it. My brain can't handle it. No, just add it. No, you just, you're saying to add the follow. Duh, sorry. Follow. Sorry, my brain couldn't handle it. You said that and I acknowledged it and then I forgot immediately. It's because I'm a goldfish. It's because I am a goldfish. All right, so we got north, east, west, south, west. You know, I'm part goldfish. Everyone knows. All right, so north. Hang on, which camera am I looking through right now? Live. Standby. There we go. So this should be, east should be 90. Okay, south should be 180. And west should be 270. All right, west should be 270. Okay, and now we're gonna add back in. Each one of these needs to have our, I do a multi-add like this, should be our player camera controller. North, east, south, and west. Moon says north, west, southwest is the old Zelda maze pathway. Northwest, southwest. I don't know what you mean, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so now, remember when I said I really disliked that I had to register them here? Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do in my player camera controller. In my player camera controller, when this thing wakes up, it is going to go find, check it out, look how cool this is. It's gonna go find, it's gonna say get component in parent player position controller. So here I go. I'm gonna have a player position controller. It's gonna say go find this bad boy, and if there is one, if we happen to have one, we're gonna get the on change facing, and we're gonna say, hey, listen. Hey, listen. Mooney says, The Legend of Zelda first game has a forest where you need to exit the screen. Oh, the like old NES one. He says, also, I would recommend making one of your cameras a prefab so you don't have to remove and duplicate things or change it all in one time. Why would I make it a prefab? That's too easy. It's too easy, Muniz. It's too easy if I make it a prefab. We gotta make we gotta stretch the stream. We gotta make everything take so long. We can't get things done in 15 minutes. You know I'm not a 15-minute type of person. All right, let's see if this works. Daniel says, now that's triggering PTSD. Uh-oh. Our west works. Why doesn't the other one? South, east, north. What? Exactly, Mooniz. Mooniz says, why drive a car when you can push the car? Exactly, you get it. You get it, Mooniz. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. That's the Contra code. MMO Pug just unlocked 30 lives. MMO Pug just unlocked the secret point code. Oh. All right. It's close enough. It's the Captain Coder code. Randomly changes each time someone figures it out. It randomly changes each time someone figures it out. Why isn't this working? I'm a little bit. Oh, none of these have. Oh, they all have those. Banius, have you made any shaders for your game? Banius, I have not made any shaders. It's one of the things that I think would be really interesting to explore. I've never made a shader. I have never made a shader. But Banius, let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or if you'd like me to pronounce it differently. Happy Wednesday, my friend. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the crew. But no, unfortunately, I have not made any shaders. It's on my list of things to learn how to do. I think it'd be really fun. Selected in there for 2 players. Munez says, do I also get points for randomly writing combinations in chat? If you get the right, the right combinations will result in points. If you get the right combinations, if you type the right combinations of characters, you might unlock some points. All right. Bania says, could you describe one you need? Perhaps I can make it for you for fun. I honestly don't know what I would need as far as shaders go. It's an excellent question. I think it would be, I just don't, I don't know. It's hard. You got me on the spot, Banius. You put me on the spot, my friend. I don't know what shaders I need. The shaders, I don't know. They're in there somewhere. I probably need them, but I don't know right now. You got me on the spot, my friend. Okay. Why aren't these being triggered? Is it not? Oh, because none of them are waking up. They don't start awake. Yeah. Is there... Question, is there code that I can run? Is there something I can write that'll force them all to wake up? All right, so here's what I can do. Let's have them all start enabled. I'll have them all start enabled. We do this, and then we say, yeah, if controller, and then we'll say handle facing controller dot facing. Moonness, start them as awake and set active false in awake. It's a good idea, my friend. So in this case, we want to actually do a debug.assert controller condition. Controller is not equal to null. And if it is, player camera controller must be nested inside of a player position controller. Whew, that's a lot of text. That's a big old, I guess it's not that hefty of an error message, but that was a lot of typing. Daniel, enjoy your stream, my friend. Anyone who's not following Daniel is a variety streamer. Sometimes streams game development, sometimes streams playing games, but go check him out. Give him some love. Hit that little heart. Hit that little heart. Why am I not following you? That was weird. I swear I've, oh, it's because I'm following, all right, hang on. Don't, Daniel, I gave you the wrong shout out. You have Daniel, Daniel has a separate Twitch account for streaming. Daniel, I'll give you a shout out in a minute here. I apologize for ruining that shout out. I know I was like, hey, wait on, I'm totally following you. I'll give you a shout out in a minute once the shout out cools down. Could you remind me what the name? It's like Daniel Plays 32 or something like that. But Daniel's a streamer. If you type it in the chat there, I'll give it a shout out in just a moment. All right. I believe in marigolds. I believe in marigolds. Do you believe in marigolds? All right, here we go. Daniel Plays 32. There we go. Probably gotta wait another minute. Shout out. Daniel Plays 32. It says I gotta wait 1 minute. All right, here we go. All right, so now our camera rotation works. Kind of. It's a little bit slow on the transition. Let's change this to 0.25. Make it snappy. Make it a snippy snap. You gotta make it pop. Unity Coder says, Benius, in Unity forums, someone was asked how to do fake depth effect shaders if you want a challenge. All right, here we go. Oh, we're in a wall. That was what was going on. We're on the inside. Look at this go. Let's go. Whee! And it should work on the controller too. Yeah, I can do it on the controller. I can rotate. All right, it works on the controller. Look at it. Check it out. Shimmy sham, shimmy sham, shimmy sham, shimmy sham. Can I move my camera? I can't. I didn't implement that. All right. We're a little bit over time. We're going to keep going just for a minute, see if I can get this last little free camera thing going. And Moon Ninja is right. We need to turn this into a prefab. A prefab, because I keep changing it. Prefab. We're going to put this here. We're going to put it down here. Put it in here. We'll put it right here. Right here. I can't talk like an auctioneer. That, just so you know, I was trying to imitate an auctioneer, not a person who that has trouble speaking. All right, so this is gonna be our player cam. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and delete these, dump our player cam in here a couple times. One more time, east, south, west. Sounded like a person that was underwater. He said, yeah, like with the. Sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry that you guys have to listen to me. I don't know why anyone tunes into this garbage. All right, but I appreciate that you're here, for having to suffer. All right, everybody, for suffering through all of this madness. You have some 50 points for having to suffer listening to me. I apologize. Please forgive me. I apologize for making you listen to this garbage. Please accept these points as an apology. I know it will never make up for the pain you have suffered. All right, we're gonna do a quick shout out to Daniel Plays 32. Give him some love. If you want to watch someone play games, it's not always a coding. It's a variety stream. He does a little bit of game development, a little bit of coding, a little bit of gaming. It's a fun place to be. Go check him out if you can. All right, now that we got that. All right, so we got these. My player cam now, I can do the following pretty easily. This should be our player camera. No. What did I call it? It's like a gamepad. Camera gamepad controller. Camera. Oh, it's just named something dumb, isn't it? Camera with a capital P. Oh. We love you, Daniel. We love you. Thank you for all your support, my friend. I love having you around here. Daniel's been here since like the beginning of my stream. I haven't been streaming very long, but Daniel's filled my heart with so much joy being here. All right, so this is our camera gamepad controller. Okay. Let's see how insane this is. When we let go, it needs to go back to the center. All right. Nothing. This is fascinating. You know what it probably is? Our update is setting these values. Yeah, so our update's setting these values. All right, so it's not quite as easy as I thought. It's not quite as I thought it was gonna be really easy. It's gonna read these values in, but this thing causes the camera to be at those values. let me think about this. If our camera stopped, we should go back to 0. Yeah. Real quick, so if I get rid of these, 1 second. I just want to make sure if I get rid of these, I'm pretty sure this is what's causing our camera to like force itself into that spot. It was interesting that it wasn't moving at all. No, that is... 1 second. 1 second. Hang on a gosh darn diddle. We gotta hang on a gosh darn diddle here. Enumerate says, how you doing, Captain? Enumerate, welcome back, my friend. Love the name. Happy Wednesday. I'm doing fabulous. Can't you see? Can't you see? I'm doing beautiful, my friend. Thank you so much for asking. How are you, Enumerate? That's a much better question. The Captain's fabulous. How are you? I've broken everything. Why doesn't my camera... Object reference. Okay, this might be what's happening. Why is that happening though? Whoa. 1 second. I'm gonna try reopening this scene. No reference exception. Something horrible has occurred. Enumerate says, pretty fabulous myself. Thanks. Just installed Debian 10 on a virtual machine and I'm trying to mess around with some OpenGL. Nice. OpenGL in Linux on a virtual machine. Internal update camera state. This is... I've done goofed. Have you ever made a goof? Because that's what I've done here. I've broken everything. Yeah, nothing that I... So, here, let's pull this up here so we can see a little bit more. None of these are mine. It seems to, yeah, that's why I looked. I was going like, huh. It's like something with the gizmos. For it. Part of me is like, do I need to restart Unity? That's why I thought switching scenes would do it. But clear, something's gone wrong with these. Let's see if we get any of these have mine. Yeah, because it's saying that the internal camera update state. Oh no. Oh no, I should have done a commit. I should have done a commit. All right, we're gonna try restarting Unity. Hang on real quick. I don't think this is gonna fix it. Oh, something. Lend me your strength. We're gonna see if it's gonna work. All right, everybody, I've been going for about an hour and 40 minutes, at least an hour and a half since our last break. We're gonna take a quick break here. I'm gonna come back. We're gonna go for at least, I really wanna finish this. We're super close. Oh, come on. Come on, why? What happened? What happened? I have no idea. If I delete these from the scene, hang on. All right, let's try adding in. Setting the parent of a transform which resides in a prefab is disabled to prevent data corruption. Okay, that's fine. That seems like a reasonable thing to want to prevent. If I add you here. Call this North. Mooney says you created a lot of rigs in the scene. Can I make it so this doesn't have rigs? North, East, south, west. All right. This one goes to the east. This one goes to the south. And this one goes to the west. The ones in the... Oh! How did I do that? Directional cams. That's fascinating. I wanted that. That seems related to this bug, though, for sure. All right, so we got our player cams. All right, so now if it messes up, I just have to drag in a new player cams. All right. Oh, no. They are enabling, disabling. Glad we made prefabs. Are we? Oh, yeah. All right, so this one, all right, let's go to our directional cams north. This one should be 90, 180, 270, like that. And we still have to mark these, set these up to be following. Okay. So they should follow player, 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 player. Apollo said, did you complete all the goals today? That's a great question. Almost. We were trying to do free camera. In fact, we actually didn't complete any of our goals today. At the beginning of the day, our goals looked like this. I deleted these 3 because I knew they weren't going to happen. So the answer is no, not even close. No, not even close. My time estimate was terrible on this day. I really thought this was going to take about an hour and a half to do, but it's taken the entire stream to accomplish. All right, so we're back to this horribleness. All right, everybody. Looks like we're not going to finish this today. Looks like we're not going to finish it. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here. We shall return, Free Look Camera. You shall not defeat me yet. We'll be back. We'll be back. All right, everybody. There's no stream tomorrow, unfortunately. No stream tomorrow. I know I said to be back tomorrow. No stream tomorrow. I have to work super late tonight, so I want to be able to sleep in tomorrow. So no stream tomorrow. I will be back on Friday, though, 7 a.m. Eastern time. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. We're going to go find someone to raid. I'm going to find someone to raid. But thank you so much for being here. This has been super fun. This has been super, super fun. Let's see who's on. Let's see who's on. Let us go raid. We're going to go raid. I think we're going to raid Clayman Dev. Gaddy Games? Who's Gaddy Games? Let's see who this is. No, we're going to go raid Clayman Dev. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. The stream would not happen without you guys. Yeah, we're going to go raid Clayman Dev. You guys making an awesome game. All right. If you're not already following Clayman Dev, be sure to follow Clayman Dev. Hit that little heart button. But we're going to go raid him in just a moment. Just a moment. But as always, everybody, keep on coding. Keep growing. Keep building up those skills. Building up those skills. You know you want them. You know you need them. And remember, you are welcome back anytime. Anytime. Have yourselves a beautiful day.